Hello, everyone. What is up? How are you all doing? We are almost through this short week. I have been a day behind, but today I'm a day ahead. So I keep thinking it's Friday. Don't ask me why, because nothing that goes on Fridays is going on today. And everything that goes on Thursday is going on. So I have no idea. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Hello, Laura in Michigan. Currently sitting at number 1, stolen from Miss Gabby. I tried to steal it. I tried to see if I could at least be number 3, and nope. It said no. So, how am I, Flashman? Well, YouTube's rude. I don't get to be a number. At least not my own chat. How are you? You are currently number 1. You went from 3 to 1. Ooh. Yay. Thank you, Laura. Member for 1 month. I appreciate it very, very much. It's always fun having you around and chat, and thank you for your support. Oh, also in Discord too, because you guys post some funny stuff in there. You may not think I see, but I generally, for the most part, I see it. I just may not be able to respond to it. And Gabby. She was number 1 for a very short period of time. And now she is number 3. I'm the only one brave enough to keep it up. Everyone else has been chickening out. I saw it on Expert so far. He hadn't started yet, but I haven't been able to. Today's been crazy, and I have not been able to watch a lot or even really listen to a lot. I know that the state rested in the Reed case, and the defense should start tomorrow. It's weird that 1, they're having court on Friday, and 2, are they having a full day of court because they had a half day of court today after not having it Thursday, Friday, or Monday. Obviously, they wouldn't have had it Monday. This is the weirdest courtroom I've ever seen. So, but I haven't had a chance to. I was listening to that as I was driving, and so I haven't had a chance to watch anybody else's chat to see if anybody else had it going. But I did see the Expert had it going at least, and he hadn't started yet. I haven't even looked at it to see how to turn it off. If you guys are wondering what we are talking about, last night while I was live, Bad Duck came into chat, and all of a sudden he had a purple crown by his name. No, I was listening while driving. That's why I wasn't watching Flashman. And I kept seeing like he had a crown. I'm like, why does he have a crown? And then I thought, maybe I was like, that is not one of my things. Like, I don't have that set up. And it would go away and it'd come back and it'd go away. But he was the only one that had one. And then I don't know who had one next. If it was Flashman, if it was Gabby, I don't know. Somebody else got one. And then we were like, what is happening? It was crazy. And I don't know if that's why my streams were buffering so bad for the last couple of days, is because YouTube was messing with things. I shut my Rumble stream completely down yesterday just to try to ease things up a little bit. I don't know if it helped. I don't have Rumble going tonight. I have had it going. So for those of you that watch on Rumble, I will put yesterday's and today's up tomorrow, because I have to wait for tonight's to process before I can do that. And then hopefully I will get back to being able to stream over there when I'm live as well, because I do have people to watch over there, believe it or not. Just a few, not a ton, but we're getting there. Hello, Shenny. How are you? Careful on the crown reading of names. It shows on your side differently than on the screen at times. Just be careful. I don't the only reason I was announcing who was 1, 2, and 3 is because I was giving Gabby a hard time, because she It's very unfair. I will say that. Yes, I have Rumble followers. Um, because poor Gabby was doing all the things that it said to do last night, and she could never crack back into number 3. She could Carmen comes bebopping in after work, and it's like, hello, and she's number 2. So it was very strange. It's not the application is really weird. Um, I I don't know. I mean, I guess if it's not popular, they'll take it away. I think it's to try to get chat more engaged. I don't know. I don't know. You guys are pretty chatty most of the time. I don't think you need a thing to tell you who's who, doing what, whatever. Like, I'm really bad at okay, thanks, Gabby. I'm the worst grifter ever to be um on YouTube. Ever. I don't grift at all. Like, I suck at it. Someone I know totally doxed a viewer by reading the names of the crown holders. How did that happen? How did they dox them? If I don't get money, these numbers don't mean nothing to me. That's gonna be my new motto. If I don't get money, these numbers don't mean nothing to me. That's it. It's going on a t-shirt. Flashman, that is the best thing I have seen all day. Their chat name is showing up different than their email sign-up name. Huh. I don't know. Yeah. Oh, they tell your real name if your account is attached to an email address. Oh. Well, I nobody I don't have anybody that's showing up any different than they normally do at this point. So, I don't know. Weird. They tell your real name if your account is attached to an email address. Huh. That's interesting. Because this account is attached to an email address, but it's attached to an email address of the same name as my account. So, and that name is under the same name as my YouTube name. Doesn't have my name anywhere on it. So, alrighty. Well, then that sounds like it won't be very popular at all. Yes, YouTube has put more stress on all of us. Good job, YouTube. I really do have to write what Flash Fadden said down because that's funny. What's up, Adair? How are you? It's pickleball night. Are you still taking a break? Yeah, I don't know. That's strange. Oh, sorry. My stomach is probably going to be quite loud because it's quite angry at me today because I ate stuff I shouldn't have. I guess, apparently. I don't know. When you have a stomach that's as picky as mine, you just eat and hope for the best. And I did. I rolled the dice and I lost today. That's all right. No, I'm not hungry. I should have stayed that way. That's the problem. I saw that you had sent something, Flashman. I have been like scrambling since about 2 o'clock today, and so I have not had a chance to look at it. I was literally like getting the stream put together at like 10 till 5. I usually have time to do it earlier at my dad's, but we were running around today, and then I had some stuff I had to do after I left his house, and it just all took longer than I thought, of course. So, all right. So we are going to continue the Betty Broderick trial. I forget to do this sometimes, so I apologize. What's up, Brandon? How you doing? Wave back at you. You need to let me know what your plans are tomorrow. Not in here, but you can text them to me so I know if I'm coming to get you, if you're hanging out, if you're not hanging out, whatever you're doing. What's up, Dill? I know you and Brandon are hanging out. So, anyway, this trial is from 1991. It is the second trial that Court TV showed after the, I think it was Pamela Smart. Flashman will correct me if I'm wrong. Another winner of a woman. That's a path I could go down, but it won't. Not today. So anyway, Betty is, I can come get you and you will hang out. All right, Gabby, I will. On my way. Betty Broderick is accused of unaliving her ex-husband, Dan, and his wife of 6 months, Linda Kolkena Broderick, in their bedroom early one morning when she either broke into the house or let herself into the house. I don't know. And unalived them by using I just hate these words. She fired rounds into them. Okay. We've seen some pictures. They're not great. We've heard from their daughter, Kim, and today, and obviously we've heard from some other people in between the law enforcement. Yesterday was Betty's boyfriend. Those two were opposites, completely opposites. Like, what's up with them? He was so meek and mild. Like, you could, like, do you ever get mad? Do you ever have any emotion? Do you happy, sad, surprised, anything? Just something. Like, stop being just, yeah, I don't know. Like, we didn't know if he ate special brownies before he came. What was happening? We don't know. Hey, Ronnie, what's up? Good to see you. Your new profile pictures everywhere are throwing me off. I'm like, who the heck's this Veronica? I know the name, but the picture that doesn't look like Ronnie. So, but anyway, so yesterday was was the boyfriend of Betty, a family friend of Dan and Betty's, who she hung out with Betty on the day that Dan and Linda got married. And the boyfriend did find the bodies after Betty came home and told him. I believe she came home, told him what she had done. I can't tell you what the last part of the testimony was yesterday because I was so distracted by what was going on with these crown thingies. And we were all very distracted by it. So I kind of just let it play, like whatever. This is his interior decorator, Dan's interior decorator. It seemed like they were kind of just going over some photos of the house and maybe some work where she had done some work, or I don't know. I really, honestly, I don't know. Because there was too much going on in chat. Your mother's trash bag, son of a beanbag. Well, somebody has apparently walked by Gabby's and maybe threw some trash in her yard. That's all I'm saying. So tonight we are going to hear from Lee. Lee is the other daughter of Dan and, no worries, Gabby, it's hilarious, Dan and Betty. Lee is the one that was written out of the will by her father, and he either didn't want to or never had the chance before his life was taken to add her back into the will. So when he passed away, she was still not part of it. And there's so many kind of conflicting things out there about what's happening, what happened with that. Did the other siblings share money with her? How much money was actually there? I have seen anywhere from $60,000 to some, millions of dollars. That's a huge gap. Anywhere in between. I don't care that it was 1991. That's a huge, huge gap in money. So I don't know. And it's none of my business. So I really haven't just researched it that much because it's none of my business. That's really kind of how I feel about it. And it was 30 years ago. So maybe they don't even have the money. Maybe they blew the money. I don't know. So with that, I have Lee ready to go. I have this Lee. Well, there. Look who's there. My mommy. Hello, Carmen. Not working today? Are you on break? I could not remember what you said you had to do. I don't know. I can't keep it straight. I have her sped up just a touch, not much, because sorry, got distracted. Flashbang. Okay, I'll have to figure it out. I haven't seen anybody's real name. But it's fine. I have her sped up just a little bit. Lee talks very fast, so I don't know that I'll be able to speed them up as much as I did last night. And she kind of talks over the lawyer until he tells her not to at the beginning here. So I do have it boosted, so let me know. I think it should be okay because this one about blew my eardrums off for last night. I thought it had to be low because it was just normal for me. So we'll see how it goes.
Lee Gordon Broderick, Broderick.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Lee.
Hi.
I take it you're the daughter of the defendant, Elizabeth Broderick.
Yes.
Daniel Broderick was your father.
Yes.
Kim is your sister.
Yes.
And your two brothers are Danny and Rick.
Yes.
Is that all right? Let's go back now to November 5th, 1989. Do you recall on that date living at 863 Sapphire Street in Pacific Beach here?
Yes, I do.
Okay. You wait till I finish the question. In San Diego here?
Yes, Pacific Beach.
Okay. And on that date, were you living there with a boyfriend by the name of Jason?
Yes.
And you've been living there for approximately 8 months?
A little bit shorter than that.
Okay. On that date, early in the morning, do you recall receiving a phone call?
Yes.
What time was it approximately?
Approximately around 7 a.m.
Did you answer the phone call?
Yes, I did.
Who was in the line?
It was my mom.
What did she tell you?
She said she was in trouble and she needed my help.
What else did she say?
She told me that she shot my dad. She shot the son of a bitch. She wanted to come to my house. And I told her to come. She said she was at a payphone in Claremont and she would be right over.
Did you say anything else that there might be a situation where she might not make it?
She said she'd be over if the police didn't pull her over first.
And the word, excuse me for repeating it, but the son of a bitch, that isn't your characterization. That's what your mother said on that day?
Yes.
Did she then later come to your house or your
Yes.
apartment? And how long did it take her to arrive?
About 10 or 15 minutes.
Once she got there, did your mother tell you more about what went on?
Yes.
What did she tell you?
She told me that she thought she had shot my dad, but she didn't know because it was dark and drapes were drawn. She wasn't sure.
Did she say how she was talking about your dad living at Cypress?
Yes, she said she went over to the house with the key and she tried the front door, but it wouldn't work, so she went around to the back door with the key.
Did she tell you whether or not the key worked in the back door?
Yes, she said that it worked. She went into the house and up the stairs and around the TV room.
Now that would bring her into the back entranceway into your dad's bedroom. Is that correct?
Yes.
And did she tell you what she did next?
She said she shot the gun one time, but it fired 5 or 6 times. She told me that, it happened because the drapes were drawn and it was completely dark. I was asking her if she had hurt anyone, if there was any screams or blood or anything like that. And she told me that she didn't think that she had hurt my dad because he had sat up and said, all right, you shot me, I'm dead.
Did you say when she came in the bedroom before she shot, did you say that she came in behind Dan and Linda?
She just said she went through the room.
Would that put her behind? You know where the bed was at that time?
Yes.
Would that have her entering behind their head, so to speak?
Yes.
Did she say anything about a telephone?
Yes. She told me that she pulled the phone out of the wall and ran away.
Did she say why she pulled the phone out of the wall?
No, I can't remember.
Do you remember stating that earlier that she pulled the phone out of the wall so your dad couldn't save himself?
Yes, I remember saying that earlier. I believe that was my conclusion to why she pulled the phone out of the wall. She did not tell me that is why she pulled the phone out of the wall. I just assumed that that's why.
Did you testify at the last trial in this case that your mother told you that she pulled the phone out of the wall so he couldn't save himself?
Yes, I do remember saying that, but those were not her exact words.
But you did testify that way?
Yes.
Now, when you said that your mother told you that after she had shot the gun, your dad talked to her, what did she say your dad said?
She said he sat up in bed and said, all right, you shot me, I'm dead.
Then what happened?
She pulled the phone out of the wall and ran away.
Did she tell you that after your dad said these things, that he fell off the bed?
I don't recall.
On the date of the killings, did you have a conversation with Detective Allen?
Yes, I did.
And did you tell him what you remembered in that conversation with your mom?
As best as I could, yes.
Do you remember telling Detective Allen said that your mother described your dad saying, okay, I'm dead, you shot me, I'm dead, and then he fell off the bed?
No, I don't remember testifying to that. I remember testifying saying, all right, you shot me, I'm dead. That's all.
Okay. Do you remember telling Detective Allen that, though?
Those exact words, yes.
That your dad fell off the bed after he said those words to your mom?
Yes.
And was that accurate, what you told Detective Allen?
Yes.
Now, when your mom got to your house, did she ask you to call an ambulance or get some help for Dan or Linda?
No.
When she came there, did she have a purse
Yes.
and a gun in the purse?
I don't remember seeing the gun, but I told Detective Allen that it was in the house, in the purse.
And that was the day of the shootings?
Yes.
Is it correct that you believe you must have seen the gun when your mom came to your house that
Yes.
morning? Have you seen your mom's gun before?
Yes.
I want to hand you what has been labeled People's Exhibit 23. Is this the person your mom brought that morning?
Yes.
So, Flashman, I had seen that already, but when I go, I see what you're talking about. But when I go to click out of it, to get out, to turn it off, if you guys have read that, it says viewers are automatically enrolled in the leaderboard. If you prefer not to participate, you can go to YouTube settings and turn it off. I don't know that I can turn it off. I don't know if I can turn it off this very second. So I don't know if you guys have to turn it off or if I have to turn it off. So you guys might have to. I know where it is, Gabby. I see what they're talking about. There's only one person in there that it did that to. Because when I went to I'll try to turn it off. I could not turn it off. I don't want to do anything weird in my stream. But when I went to where it told me to go, I don't have that. I don't have that option. So, but it says go to settings, select privacy in the live chat section, toggle off leaderboard by selecting turn off leaderboard participation. If I can turn it off, I will. I don't know that they'll give me that option, but I will try. Okay, so you have to do it as viewers. That's what I thought. Okay. Yeah, no, thanks, Flashman. I just think you guys have to do it. I can't do it. Like, I can't turn the whole thing off. So Gabby's turned hers off. But that's yeah. And so the only person that I see that whose email came out, I'll message them and let them know so that they can go act accordingly. All right, back to Lee.
Have you seen that before?
Yes.
And by the way, the bail officer just checked this, make sure it's not loaded. This is People's Exhibit 24. The gun is, you want me to just hold it for you here?
Yeah, that's the gun.
Okay. When your mom got to your house, did she tell you to go anywhere?
She asked me if I would go check on my little brothers at the Calle del Cielo home.
Did she also want you to get certain things at the Calle de Cielo house?
Yes, she asked me to look for a key and to look for her phone book.
What was the key to?
As far as I knew, it was to the closet in her garage where she kept her valuables.
Is that a room where she had outfitted with a special lock or deadbolt so it'd be secure?
Yes, I believe she had it installed for that reason, so that she could keep her silver and her wines and jewelry and things like that locked away.
Valuables that she didn't want anybody else to touch?
Yes.
Okay. And how long had she had that safe room?
I can't recall.
A month, 2 months?
I have no idea.
Okay. Did she tell you where the key was?
Yes.
Where did she tell you the key was?
In a pewter cup on the mantle.
What about her telephone book?
She told me that it would be in the kitchen.
And did you go to Calle de Cielo to get these things for your mom?
Yes.
Now, I take it she stayed at your apartment on Emerald Street?
Sapphire Street.
Sapphire Street?
Yes, she stayed there.
And you went to Calle de Cielo?
With Jason, yes.
Did you get those items that she wanted?
No.
You couldn't find the key?
I couldn't find the key, and I also couldn't find the phone book.
When you were at Calle de Cielo on that occasion, did you run into any police officers?
Yes.
Tell us about that, please.
My brother Rhett was riding his bike around the cul-de-sac, and as I came out of the house, Rhett was talking to me, and the police were hiding in the bushes at the next door neighbor's house. They came out and asked me if I had seen my mother. I said no, and they asked me what I was doing there. I said I was getting my laundry. I went back in the house, got my laundry, and I left.
So it'd be fair to say you weren't quite truthful with the police officers in that occasion?
I was not truthful with the police officers. I told them I had not seen my mom that day.
Okay. Did you then go back to your apartment on Sapphire Street?
Yes, I did.
Was your mom still there?
Yes.
What was she doing when you came back?
She was on the telephone.
Did you have the opportunity to see her on the phone for a period of time?
Yes, I did.
And was she calling quite a few people?
Yes.
Now, where's that phone located?
In my room on the bedside table.
And that's the only bedroom in your apartment?
Yes.
And it's a small bedside table where your telephone is?
Yes.
Now, did there come a time a little bit after that your mom decided she wanted to turn herself into the La Jolla Police Department?
Yes, right when she got off the phone, she asked Jason and I if we would drive her to turn herself in.
And did you drive her to the police department?
We drove her, we got in the car and we started driving to the police station, and she told us that she wanted to meet her friends Diane and Ronnie at a parking lot at the Magic Pan restaurant.
Did you ultimately go to the police department with everybody?
We picked them up at the at the parking lot and went to the La Jolla police station.
And I don't want to get into hearsay here, but just based on what went on in the car, was there a decision that made that your mom was not going to turn herself in at that point, and you went somewhere else? I don't want you to tell me what other people said, but
she did not decide that she did not want to turn herself in. The other people in the car decided that it would be best for her to get legal advice before she turned herself in.
and your mom agreed with that position.
Yes.
Where'd you go next?
I dropped them off at a telephone.
When you mean them, you mean your mom and
My mom, Diane, and Ronnie.
Ronnie Brown and Diane Black?
Yes.
Did your mom at that point want you to go to her condominium?
Yes.
And did she want you to bring several things back from that condominium to her?
Diane had suggested to me that it would be a good idea to get some of her legal papers so that we could find her some legal advice to turn herself in. She told me that to just get a full box of stuff. And I don't know what was in the box, but I did as I was instructed and got the box.
That was your mom that told you that?
Yes.
And did your mom tell you to bring back your diaries, her diaries, excuse me?
She just told me to get the box and to bring it back to them. I did not know at the time what was in it. I didn't find that out till later.
Did she tell you to bring back her book?
She just told me again to get the box. I had no idea what was in the box.
Did she draw up a list of things for you to bring back from her condominium?
No, she didn't write me a list of things to bring. She wrote down some things that I might need to know. She wrote down a combination to the lock on her storage garage. She wrote down that Mimi Siegel was the person that takes care of her bills and accounts. She wrote down a will, a little thing, a piece of paper that she had Diane and Ronnie sign that said that if anything should happen to her, that my brothers and sisters and I would provide anything that was left of hers.
Okay.
And I believe that's all she wrote to me in the car at that time.
Okay. So she wrote out this little will, and she had Ronnie and Diane sign it as witnesses.
Yes.
And she gave you the will.
Yes.
The last time you testified in this case, do you recall being asked about whether or not your mother told you to bring back certain things?
Yes.
And you recall testifying that you did tell, your mother did tell you to bring back her diary and her book?
Yes, I did testify to that, but I didn't find out that they were the diary and her book until I actually got the box and opened it up and saw that it was the diary and the book and other legal stuff.
Okay. But you did testify those things, I take it?
Yes.
And did she tell you where that would be found, this box of legal stuff?
Yes.
Where was that?
She told me it was underneath the desk in the garage.
It might have been a little bit before this. Was there a time when she took off her jewelry and gave it to you?
Yes.
Where did that happen?
Before we got in the car at Sapphire, my apartment, before we got into Jason's car to turn herself in, I had asked her if she would take off her necklace and give it to me.
That was a diamond necklace?
Yes.
Yeah, and did she have a diamond watch too?
Yes, I believe she took off her watch, her earrings, and her necklace.
And she gave those all to you?
Yeah, she put them on me.
Now, when you went, did you then go to the condominium to get your mother's diaries and her book and her other legal documents?
After Diane suggested that in the car in front of the police station, I dropped them off at the telephone, and then I went to her condo with Jason.
Was that the last time you saw your mom that day?
Yes.
And on the way, what did you make of the condominium?
Yes.
Did you get inside?
Yes, we did.
How'd you do that?
We broke in through a window.
And that's because you didn't have a key?
Yes.
Did you locate the items that your mother wanted?
Yes, they're in the garage under the desk.
And on your way back to your mother from the condominium, where you stopped at the police?
On the way out of the driveway to the condominium, the police pulled in and told us to get out of our car, to park the car, and get in the back of their car.
Did you later come down to the police headquarters and give a taped statement what went on that morning to Detective
Yes.
Allen? Now, was there a time after you had been at the condominium and talked to the police that you went back to your apartment and saw that there was a message on your phone answering machine?
Yes.
Did you play the message?
The detective played the messages, yes.
And you gave the message to him?
He took it, yes.
Okay. Your Honor, I have a cassette tape and a closing box. It's marked Table exhibit 55. I would like to have it so marked. It's already.
No, so marked.
Thank you. The council will consent to the playing of the tape this time.
Go ahead.
I want you to listen to this tape. Can you tell us whether or not this is the tape that was on your machine?
Give me a call back, please. Thank you. Morning.
Before you go any further, stop for a minute.
Is everyone?
So was and secondly, we'll both counsel stipulate that my reporter doesn't have to transcribe the tape.
That's correct, Your Honor, but I think we're only looking for one message. Yeah, this was, I think, an earlier message that I might have rewound past the.
Turn it down low and get to the message you want to play.
I think we're.
Please turn it down because we can't
Go
hear
ahead.
them speak, but the beeps are really, really loud.
We're gonna come over with the police.
The problem is with the break, we run at the council, now I think we've lost our reference point.
You just turn it down low and play it for yourself. Why don't you take a step out in the hall and do it? Just take a step out in the hall for a minute.
I was like, get out.
You can take it to my chambers and plug it in. If you folks want to stretch for a minute, go ahead. Same with the audience. Want to stretch for a minute, go ahead. Everybody but Mr. Earl.
Not you, cameraman. They didn't cut this part out, really. About 100. What's happening?
Now,
Oh, sorry. Is it a real joke, Adair? I gave you the joke of the answer that our family as a whole gives as a joke answer to when we just don't know or we think somebody's being sarcastic. So everything is about 100. You know, like how many miles do you think that is? About 100. How much does it cost? About 100. How many lawyers does it take to run a tape recorder? About 100. If there's a real number, I don't know. Lawyers and tech don't get along. We all know that. Gabby, thanks. I won't trust you the rest of the stream. Just kidding.
It is
Hey, Wendy.
11:05. I have an appointment with an attorney at 11:30, and I will be going there, seeing that you didn't come back. Don't worry, sweetie. Everything will be okay. I hope you're okay. I don't know if I do. I'll call you again as soon as I can. Thank goodness you have the machine on. Bye.
was that the message?
Yes.
Now, the next day, in your bedroom, did you find a set of keys on a key ring?
Yes, I did.
And whose keys were they?
My sister Kim's.
Had you seen them before?
Yes.
Where did you find them in the bedroom?
They had fallen between the bed, side table, and the bed. They're in between.
Is that table that has a telephone on it?
Yes.
And hand you a set of keys that's been marked People's Exhibit 47. Are these the keys we're talking about? These are Kim's keys?
Yes.
And these are the keys that had somehow mysteriously disappeared some period of time before the shootings. Is that correct?
My sister had lost them, and she had told me to look around for them.
Had you found them before that time? You didn't see them before that time?
No.
It's true that your mother knew what those keys were.
I believe she would recognize them as Kim's keys.
You testified that she did know your sister's key ring. Isn't that correct at the last trial?
Yes.
And that's accurate.
Yes.
Did your mother ever tell you that she had found your sister's keys in a couch at Calle de Cielo?
No.
You don't recall her ever telling you that? Now, is it fair to state that for a long period of time before the shooting, your mother made a lot of threats to do things bad to your dad?
Yes.
And is it correct that she said, according to you, quote, Mom always says, strike that, let's go on to something else here. You saw your mom shortly before the shootings.
Yes.
It was, I think, a day before.
The Friday before.
The shootings were on a Saturday. You saw your mom on a Friday,
Yes.
and that was when you went out.
I think council misspoke. The shootings were on Sunday.
I didn't speak. Thank you. And you were with your mom on Friday.
Yes.
What was she doing fine on at that time?
She was a little bit upset about a letter that my dad had sent to her, but we didn't want to discuss it any further. We wanted to go shopping and have a nice day, so I didn't want to ask what the letter was about. She just indicated to me that she was very upset about another letter that my father had sent her.
Okay. Other than that, was she okay?
Yes.
And you went shopping at Nordstrom's on that Friday?
Yes.
Was there a number of times when your mother would leave vulgar, obscene messages on the message machine at Cypress where you live with your dad?
Yes.
And did you, from time to time, tell her to stop doing that?
Yes.
And did she say that, basically, a quote here, it was a free country and she could cuss if she wanted to?
Yes. Sounds about right.
Did your father at any time ever beat your mother or physically assault your mother?
Not that I saw, no.
And did you see your father ever physically assault or beat yourself, Kim, or your two brothers?
He spanked us, but I wouldn't call it assaulting or anything
Was there
damaging.
Okay. Was there anything inappropriate about the spankings? Were they properly administered?
Yes.
You saw nothing wrong with the way he spanked anybody?
No.
Okay. I mean, you probably didn't want to get spanked.
Yes.
After your mom and dad separated, did your dad indicate that he was afraid of your mother?
Yes.
And that he was afraid that she might do something to hurt him?
Everybody knew that my dad was afraid of my mom. We don't know why.
Wasn't your dad afraid that your mother might hurt him?
Yes.
And didn't he, because he was afraid of her, take every effort he could not to talk to her or see her?
Yes, he would avoid her all the time.
And even when they had to possibly have contact, let's say when the boys were being dropped off or picked up, he would probably stay in his car and let the boys walk in.
Just saying.
Do you recall when the boys would be dropped off or picked up by either your mom or your dad? What would your dad do?
Usually when my dad had to pick up my brothers or me or Kim at my mom's house, he would call first from his car phone and tell us that he was on his way. He'd be there soon. When we heard the honk, we were supposed to come outside. He would stay in the car and honk.
And that was because he didn't want to have a confrontation with your mother?
Yes.
Now there were some times when your mother did threaten your dad's welfare,
Yes.
and she has said certain things, such as, they can forgive me for the language, but that she said she was going to shoot my dad if he gives her any more shit. Is that a statement you made about your mother threatening your dad?
I could have made that statement. I don't remember that being her direct quotes, but that sounds like something she might have said.
On the day of the shootings, when you had that statement with Detective Allen that was taped, did you tell Detective Allen that she said that she was going to shoot my dad if she gives her.
I object to either this refreshing memory or impeachment.
Sustained. We do it, Mr. Burkhoff, let her read it to herself first.
Certainly. You do recall talking to Detective Allen on the day of the shooting?
Yes, I do.
We might have a copy of this transcript.
I believe counsel does. It's,
Let's
page six of Detective Allen's,
Let's see it first.
report, so providing service.
I have the tape, but not the transcript.
Oh, it's in the tape, there's a transcript.
Well, I would like to have the transcript so I can check it with the tape to make sure it's accurate.
You're entitled to a copy of the transcript.
But do you disagree with that statement that you told Detective Allen?
Your Honor, there's been an objection.
Objection sustained until he gets a copy of the transcript to compare with the tape. You have the tape here?
We have the tape available, I don't think we have it in the courtroom.
Go into that area at a later time.
Okay. No, the gun that your mother had that you identified, she did fire it and practice her shooting with the gun.
She invited me to go to the shooting range with her once. That's the only time I know that she shot the gun.
And she kept that gun in her bedroom in Coyote Cielo.
Yes.
Did your mother ever tell you that I just keep it talking about the gun?
Your Honor, I have an objection to
Sustained.
Did your mother ever threaten to do anything with the gun if your father did anything bad to her? Give her, I guess in her words, any more shit? Again, I apologize for lying.
I don't really remember. She would threaten to kill him, not specifically shoot him.
She never said she was going to shoot him?
She may have. I don't remember.
Did she have the gun in her pocket when, at least on one occasion, your father came over to either drop off or pick up the boys?
Yes, I saw the gun in the pocket of her robe.
In fact, she showed it to you, didn't she?
Yes.
And again, we're talking about this gun right here, she showed you,
Yes.
and is indeed the gun she shot your father with, isn't that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
You want to make a record what the exhibit number is?
Yes, Your Honor. For the record, I'm holding up the same gun as People's Exhibit 24.
Cross down.
Have you read your transcripts of your interviews?
Yes.
Okay. I would request that I get a copy of those. Let's just read your Honor.
They'll be provided, Your Honor.
All right, you're entitled to them.
Does he want to know? We have to make a copy of them. He wants to know.
Well, I would like them before I finish my cross-examination.
All right.
The time that your mother was called you that day, what was she like when she called you from home?
She sounded to me like she was very upset. She needed my help.
When you say upset, how upset was she?
Her voice was shaking, and I believe she was crying. I couldn't see her, but it sounded to me like she was crying.
And did she indicate where she was?
She told me she was at a payphone in Claremont.
And could you hear cars going by?
Yes, I could hear noise in the background.
And did she then come over?
Yes, about 15 minutes later.
Okay. Now, when she, at the time before, you mentioned the time that she asked you to bring you to the police station. Had she mentioned that before that?
Yes.
Okay. And so very early on, she mentioned going to the police?
Yes, she was worried that the police were going to see her car out in front of my house. She didn't want the police to come and take her from my house. She wanted us to drive her to the police station to turn herself in.
Okay. And when she arrived at your house, was she very upset at that time?
Yes.
Was she crying?
Yes.
Was she at sometimes a little bit hysterical?
Yes, very.
Okay. When you were talking to her, was this a easy conversation you were having where it was flowing, or were you asking a lot of questions?
I was basically, Jason and I were asking a million questions. She was trying to answer them.
Was she repeating herself sometimes?
She was repeating herself, and she was talking really fast. She was moving around a lot. We couldn't get her to hold still.
Was she answering sometimes, repeating the same thing about what
Yes.
the question was?
Yes.
The, during the time that she was there, did she ever get sick?
Yes, I tried to make her a cup of tea and have her sit down and drink it. But she took one sip and ran to the bathroom and threw up.
The, did she ever ask you to hide the gun?
No,
Okay, did she ever ask you to hide anything?
no.
The, when she told you about trying the key in the front door, she said it didn't work?
Yes, she just said she tried the front door and it wouldn't work. So she went around to the back door.
Did that surprise you?
No, not at all.
Why is that?
The lock in my dad's house was hard to open with the key, even though it did fit.
Okay, in the front door?
It would stick.
The, and the key is a, I mean, it's an obvious key, is that correct?
Yeah, it looks like a hotel room key. This one, it's a lot larger than any normal car key or house key.
Now, I take it that your mother is usually somebody that when she's talking in normal tone, she's a fairly fast talker.
Yes.
When she talks to the children, is that not to appear to be upset? Try as much as she can.
Yes.
So she'll
She would
talk
hold back her tears if she was
if she
upset
can.
about something. If she could hold them back, she would try.
At the time, were you
Yes, very.
the did you try to call your father's house?
I tried to call my father's room after my mom had called me, and I didn't know the number. I picked up the phone to call, and I remembered that I don't know the number there. My dad had a separate line in his room and in his office, and I was not allowed to know the number.
The did she talk to you at that time about some papers that upset her that day?
Objection vague as to what time we're talking about.
No, it's the same.
And when she was sitting there talking to you that morning, did she tell you that she was upset about some papers that she received and she couldn't go on?
Yes.
And you indicated that when you came back, you left, when you came back, she was on the phone, is that correct?
Yes.
You were there when she was trying to call people, is that correct?
When I came home, she was on the phone with her father in New York.
And was she upset at that time?
Yes.
You've been trying to call her a psychiatrist?
Yes.
Was she able to get through to him?
No, she tried to call a few numbers to recognize him, but it was a Sunday and he wasn't around.
And then at some point in time, some people came and she left the house to go turn herself in, is that correct? You drove her to a place?
Jason and I and my mother went together to turn her in to the
Okay.
police.
And you went to a place right across from the police department in La Jolla?
Yes, the La Jolla, I believe it's across the street from La Jolla Country Day.
And you sat in a car outside and Ronnie Brown and Diane Black were discussing whether she should turn herself in or whether they should try to reach a lawyer first?
Yes, we were all, Jason, I, Diane, and Ronnie were all deciding who should take her in, which one of us should go with her.
I mean, physically walk with her.
Yes,
And you indicated that she wrote a list out of things for you. Was that a list that she was doing through? Were those things that you were asking her? What am I supposed to do, Mom? What are your numbers?
I believe she was the one to write them down. I didn't ask for the information that she gave me.
Okay.
She just wrote it down on a picture that was lying on the floor of Jason's car.
Okay. So this was something that there was a picture that Jason had in the car, and she just picked it up instead of trying to turn myself in. These are the things you need to know.
Yes.
Did she write the will out in the car?
Yes.
And she had Diane and Ronnie witnessed it at that time?
Yes, they both signed it.
And whose idea was it to get some of the stuff that were in the house, which ended up being the diaries and her book?
I believe at the beginning, when we started talking about legal advice, it was Diane's idea to go to the condo and get some legal papers. My mom was the one who instructed me where to find the things that she would want.
Now, Friday, do you remember what time you saw her? The Friday before? Was it in the morning, the afternoon?
I believe it was in the afternoon, early evening.
Did you talk about anything else that was going on with her that Friday when you saw her?
No, not really. She told me about the letter that she received, and she told me she was very upset about it. We started to get into the conversation. I didn't want to ask any questions because I knew that if I brought it up, it put her in a bad mood. We'd never end up going shopping.
Okay.
So I told her at that time that let's just go shopping. Everything will be okay.
But there's nothing else. She didn't tell you she'd been anywhere else that day or done anything else?
No.
Okay. And was there a reason that you remembered that it was Friday? Was that just because that's when the sale starts for Nordstrom's?
I believe it was the women's half yearly sale. That's how I remember that we went there.
Now, you indicated that your mother had the gun in the robe once when your father came over. Is that correct?
Yes.
And she didn't take the gun out and point it at your father, did she?
No.
And she told you that she carried the gun sometimes just because she was scared when your father came over. Objection, Your Honor.
Overall, you can answer that.
She didn't tell me why she had the gun with her when my dad came over. I assumed that she was scared. She never really told me why she had it with her.
Thanks, Puddletown, for the bribe. I mean, the super chat. I will, not that I want to stop anyone from sending money my way if they want to, but I will tell you, Gabby sent money my way last night, and it didn't help her at all. She sent a super sticker and a super chat, and once she got knocked out of the top three, well, I guess there's only three. She could not get back in it, and Carm came bebopping in and was immediately at number 2. So I don't know. I have no control over it, so it wasn't favorites or family or anything. I have zero control, just so you know. I don't know. I'm seeing like wars and stuff break out over this dumb crown. So is Carmen. So I don't know. Like Carmen's missed a ton. Gabby's just, hell no. I won't crown. No, I won't crown. That sounds like you're having a baby. Or maybe you are the baby. Being born, not a baby. You're not a baby, Gabby. Do you know what I mean? Jeez. All right.
During the time that do you remember how your family was before they split up? Did it appear to be a happy family, sad family?
Objection, Dennis.
Yeah, overall, you can answer that.
Before my parents separated, I thought we had a really happy family.
Now, You indicated that you never saw your father hit your mother. Did they used to argue in front of you? What did they used to do?
If they were fighting, they wouldn't fight in front of us. They would go into their bedroom, lock the door, and fight in there.
And was that a fairly, that they would do that right away? They would go in?
I don't remember. I just know that my parents didn't fight that much. I didn't think they fought that much, and when they did, they wouldn't do it in front of us.
You indicated that that there were times when that your mother left vulgar messages in the house in Cyprus.
Yes.
Is that correct? Were those vulgar messages every time she called? She'd leave a vulgar message?
Not every time.
Would there be times where she would call, where you would get from the answering machine and there would be a number of messages from her that were nice, and then the last one or two would be vulgar?
Sometimes if she got through and got to talk to someone, she usually wouldn't use vulgar language. It was only when she couldn't get through a number of times that she'd get frustrated and start yelling obscenities in the phone.
Okay. Were you at her house sometimes when you would hear her leave?
Yes.
Where she would yell into the phone?
Yes.
Okay. When she would you ever hear messages coming from the boys at Cyprus that made her try to get a hold of them?
Yes.
Were some of them cries for help from them? Check into what that means.
No, sustained.
Be upset.
Some they would be happy. They would just want to talk. Pick up the phone, Mom, are you there? And they would just keep rambling off about things and the dogs. And other times they would be upset. They would cry and say like they've been waiting all day for my mom to call. Like, why won't she call them back? Sometimes they were upsetting, and sometimes they were friendly and nice.
Okay. Did your mom keep a portable phone?
At some point in time, she bought a purse phone so that she could carry it around with her in her purse in case my brothers were trying to get through to her.
Okay. And that was the number that she left with them?
Yes.
Okay. Did you indicated that your father avoided seeing your mother in person, is that correct?
Yes.
Did you know what was going on in court?
No, I did not know. I would only hear things from my dad.
Just
Sustained everything, just know the answer to the question.
Did you have any idea what your father was doing with service or what he was doing with other things that were going on around the divorce?
No.
So I can see it's buffering again. Sorry. I don't know. I think it's because they're messing with things because I was doing fine. And then they started messing with stuff. Now we have these crowns and everything's been buffering before then and still today. So I apologize. That's why I'm trying to kind of stay out of it. But some of those chats are funny and it's hard to.
You indicated that your mother often when she would get mad, her statements would include a lot of times she was going to kill him.
Yes.
So would it
A
always?
lot of times.
I mean, how would she say that? Would she say he's making me so mad I could kill him, or would it all differ, or?
It would all differ, but it all referred to her not being able to go on like this, and if things kept going the way they were going, she was gonna have to kill him.
Okay. And I take it that would have been an expression she'd been using for a long time.
Yeah, she would tell all of us she was going to kill us if we wouldn't do what she said. Like, take out the trash or I'm going to kill you. But we didn't take it seriously, of course.
Did you ever, you indicated you saw the gun one time?
Yes, I've seen it a few times.
Okay. And when were the few times that you saw it?
Well, my dad had come to me and asked me if my mom had a gun. Because he had heard that she did have one from my brothers. And he figured that I would know, if anyone, because I was the one that spent the most time at my mom's house. So he came to me and he asked me if I could find out if my mom had a gun or not. So I went to my mom's house. I asked my mom, everybody knows you have a gun. Come on, I want to see it. And she said, wait here. She made me wait outside her bedroom. She went into her room and got it. And came back out and showed it to me.
Now, there had been rumors started about her having a gun for a long period of time, had it not?
Yes, I had heard she had a gun from my brothers and from Linda and from other people besides her.
Okay, had you ever, no, I'm talking about even before this gun was bought. Had it been going on for years, people saying that she had a gun?
Yes.
Had you ever seen another gun?
No.
The morning that the morning of this incident, where your mother came over your house. Have a moment here.
Certainly.
You indicated there was at least one occasion where your mother and father got into an argument and your father hit your mother. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And that was in regards to the time when when your mother ran the car into the front door?
Yes.
Did you indicated that your father, there was at times where he's never actually physically struck you, is that correct?
Excuse me?
He's never physically struck you other than to spank you?
Yes.
Okay. Was there a time where you would make sure, where you knew that when your father was in a bad mood, where you would stay away from him?
Yes. If Linda came home from the office and told us that he had had a bad day at the office, we would stay out of his way and try and be good.
Yeah. And you knew that when your father, you'd been around when your father would get mad at things and start destroying them, weren't you? Okay. And the kids would make sure that they stayed away from him during those times?
Yes.
Okay. And there would be times when your mom and dad were still living together and married, your mother would tell you when your father was in a bad mood to be quiet and stay away.
Yes.
Your Honor, there's some questions that they went into from the transcripts that I want to check the transcripts on against the tape. I wonder if this is an appropriate time to.
Yes, can I see both counsel sidebar off the record regarding scheduling before recess? I have to check and make sure we're still on the same schedule we thought we were on it last time we discussed scheduling. It would appear things are going, believe it or not, a little faster than we thought. It's anticipated the people's case will end the early part of next week. As you can see, we have a significant number of exhibits that we have to do rulings on or have discussions on outside your presence. Rather than wait until the people rest, which is when we normally would have those type of discussions at the end of their case, which would cause a break in the testimony, and to have us be able to go right from the people's case into the defense case, counsel have agreed that we'll do that tomorrow. So we'll do that outside your presence tomorrow. We'll be in session on this case tomorrow, but we won't need you for what we're going to be doing tomorrow. So you, in effect, get tomorrow off. So we'll see you folks Monday at 9 a.m. Please remember the admonition not to discuss the case among yourselves nor allow anyone else to discuss it with you, nor form any opinions on it until it's finally submitted to you. And again, an additional caution, please be extra careful not to watch anything on television that has to do with this case. Have a nice weekend. Miss Lee Broderick, would you resume the stand, please? You're still under oath from last week, okay?
Okay.
Go ahead, Ms. Early.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I just have a moment.
Yes.
The during the week or 2 weeks before the death of your father, did you have any conversations with involved in any conversations with Kim about Arizona, Greece?
Yes, I did.
What was Kim's attitude and demeanor during that time?
She was very upset about her situation with the apartment, and she was also upset that my dad wasn't sending her money.
Did she mention why she was upset that her dad sent her money?
Well, she wanted to get an apartment in Arizona, and my dad told her that it was too expensive and to keep looking for a cheaper place. And she cried to my mom and told my mom that she really wanted this apartment, and my mom agreed to give her money.
How did Greece come into it?
Well, my mom and I didn't know that my dad was paying for his friends to go to Greece. We found out through my sister that he was paying for the whole trip for everyone to go.
And how was Kim when she would go over your mother's house? What would Kim's demeanor be? Would you ever see her upset?
Excuse me, objection, Vegas to time.
Sustained.
During the time after the split between your mother and father, did your mother ever come over and talk? Did Kim ever come over and talk to your mother about problems she was having at your father's house?
Yes, she did. She would often come over, very upset, and tell my mom about her problems with my father.
Okay. Now, was this something where your mother had to pry it out of her? She'd come over and tell her?
No, she'd just come over in tears and explain why she was upset.
When you were living with your father, and this is after the time they separated, would your father drink at home?
When he came home from work, he would usually make himself a drink, either wine or gin and tonic. When he got home, he'd usually do that and sit down and read.
Now, would your father usually eat dinner at home?
Yes, he would eat dinner at home Monday through Friday.
And would he stay home then after he had dinner, or would he leave sometimes?
So it varied. Sometimes he had a meeting scheduled that he had to talk in. Sometimes he would stay home. Sometimes he would go to movies. And it all depends.
Would this be something he would usually do after the maid left?
Yes.
Now, on weekends, would your father, when he wasn't going out of town, would he go out on Friday and Saturday?
Yes, he would go out with his friends.
And who would stay home with children?
Either Kim and I would babysit Danny and Red.
And was there times that your father would pick you up places after he had been drinking?
Yes, he would pick me up at my friend's house in La Jolla, and before I had a driver's license, and I would sometimes drive the car.
Okay. And would he always? What would be his condition?
Well, if him and Linda had been drinking and they had to come someplace to pick me up, he would ask me if I would drive the car, because I had a permit to drive with the person 25 or older in the car. So he would ask me to drive.
With his condition, would there sometimes be very drunk?
Objection, Your Honor, leaving.
No, sustained.
Okay. How would a state of intoxication vary on those occasions?
Well, it appeared to me that he had been drinking and he didn't want to be pulled over for another drinking and driving violation. So he would try and have me drive if he had consumed alcohol that night.
And how would the condition, can you describe, were there extremes? I mean, sometimes drinking a little, some a lot. Or
Sometimes he'd drink a lot. Sometimes he'd just have a couple drinks. It all depends on where he was and what he was doing.
Do you, when you've testified about sometimes your father's demeanor. Did he ever do anything with the dog when he'd get mad?
Yes, he didn't like the dogs. He would call them names and kick them.
Now, during the time, how would you describe, did you have people that came at the house? Were they there just babysitters? Was there a lot, a little of them? From the time that your mother and father separated?
We had many babysitters from the time they separated. There was different ones. A lot of them didn't work out. We tried some and they were fired. Others we just didn't like.
Did Linda David, was she there?
Yes, she was a babysitter at one time.
You saw her on the witness stand?
Yes.
Did she look when she was babysitting there like she did on the witness stand?
No, she looked a lot different. She used to wear an earring in her nose, and she looked a lot different than she does now.
Okay, and did she have, after when your father wasn't around, did she have people visiting her?
Yes, her boyfriend would come over at night if my father was not coming home.
And what did he look like?
Sustained.
Did your mother complain about his looks and being over there?
She didn't like the way Linda David looked. She thought she looked like trashy, and she didn't want my sister and I to dress like that. And she thought it was a bad example for Linda David and her motorcycle boyfriend to come to the house while my dad wasn't there.
Were there other problems that your at least mother got involved with sometimes, some of the babysitters or people bringing boyfriends over?
Yes, she also had a problem with Robin, our other babysitter. She didn't like the way, she thought Robin was rude. She didn't like the way Robin yelled for us whenever she called. And Robin's boyfriend would also spend some time at the house.
Was there a time where your father was out of the country and your mother was called about bringing food and medicine over?
Yes, when my father went to Europe, I called my mom and asked her if she could bring some food and some medicine over because we were sick and had a cold. And I believe we spent the money that my dad left on miniature golf and pizza and things like that the first couple days he was gone. So for the rest of the week, we didn't have any money to buy things because we had spent it already.
Okay. Do you know whether your mother got fined for coming over the house during?
Hey, cameraman, her eyes are up. Up. Why are you stopped right there? Weirdo. Hey, Daddy Shortnuts. Thank you. Welcome to the jury pool. I appreciate you becoming a member. Thank you very, very much. I agree. She doesn't have boobs. I mean, she does somewhere. There's boobs. She's not that bad. But they're up higher. And Sally Jessie Raphael's sister is not wearing her red glasses today. Yes, Gabby already pointed out her pearl necklace. And I think maybe the cameraman gave it to her. Oh, okay.
Well, speculation.
Overall, do you know, or don't you? Yes or no?
Yes, she did.
Was there a problem sometime with at the house where your mother was talking to about that?
Yes, at the beginning, the babysitter, my dad would give the babysitters money to go to the store and get food, and they would buy dinner food, steak and chicken and things like that. And so we always had a freezer full of food. But when we came home from school, there would be things for us to eat. So we had to talk to my dad about it, and then he finally did talk to Robin about it, and then she would go buy us chips and things that we could eat after school.
Was at a time before your father finally did it, was there some arguments between your mother and father about that?
Yes, there was.
You had was there a car that was available for your and Kim's use at your father's house?
Yes, we were to share the MG midget.
Now, when you say you were to share that, was that at a time before Kim went away to Arizona to college?
Yes.
And was there a problem with the MG?
Yes. We didn't know what the problem was. It would just stall and we'd start again.
Did both of you talk to your mother about that?
Yes, we talked to our mother and our father about it.
And what was your father buy a car at that time?
We talked to our mom about it, and she finally did buy me and my sister a car.
When you moved out of the rental house, when your mother took you over to your father's house, what was she like at that time?
She was upset. I didn't know if she was upset with me or upset. She was just very upset. She told me to pack my stuff and I'm going to my dad's house.
Okay. Talk about what was up.
Yes, she said that to their house. They stay there in the summer and they were planning on coming back.
Okay. When your mother moved into the home at Cali de Cielo, did she have any furniture at that home?
When she first moved in there, no, she didn't have any furniture.
Was there any arguments that she had in terms of trying to get some furniture that your father had for the home?
Yes, I believe so.
Whose furniture was in the home at, what furniture were you using at Coral Reef?
Well, when we first moved there, the furniture was left at the rental house. So we had no furniture at the Coral house either.
And when the rental was up, did the furniture get moved over to Coral Reef?
Yes.
And showing you what has been marked as defense over identification. Have you seen these pictures before?
Yes, I have.
Was your mother trying to get that furniture?
Yes, she would ask me if I would go ask my father for the 2 dark wood tables and the dresser.
And were you able to get him to agree to give her that furniture?
No, he said that he was using them for his files and she couldn't have them.
Were you aware in 1989, after the divorce decree, of a problem involving the wedding china?
Yes, I was.
And did you talk to your father and Linda about the wedding china?
Yes, my mom had asked me if I could ask my father to give her the wedding china.
Okay.
And I would ask him, and he would say no.
Okay. And did you ask Linda about the wedding china?
Well, I kept bothering my dad about it, and he finally said, yes, I could take the china if she would just shut up about it. And Linda told me that she had replaced a few chipped pieces in the set, and it cost her a few $100s that she had put into the set to restore it, and she didn't want it in court, and she wasn't going to get it, and she was hiding it, and it wasn't in the house. So she came to look for it, not to look around because it wasn't there, and she'd never find it.
Did your mother ever go to the house to ask about it?
Yes, she did.
Okay. When she went, what was her demeanor?
She was very upset. She noticed that my dad and Linda had new wedding china, and she didn't realize why they were keeping hers from her.
Was there some time in just before, sometime just before your father died, that you were told to leave your father's house, you and him.
Yes, my dad told us, well, he told me, and he told my sister the same night, but at separate times. We were called into his office, and he told us that I would be 18 next month, and I was going to be an adult. It was time to find a job and take public transportation and then live on my own and get an apartment and start my life as an adult. And he later told my sister the same thing.
Was she upset about that?
Yes, she was very upset.
And at a time, was there a time when Kim was off in college that you were living in your father's home?
Yes.
Okay. And where were you, at the time when she was off in college, where were you living in the home?
Well, when she was off in college, I would stay in her room. But the day she came back from college, I was kicked down to the poolside dressing room area.
Okay, and that's a little room that's next to the pool where you, where just people go in to change their clothes?
Yes.
Okay, did it have bathroom facilities?
It had a sink, a bar type sink and a mini refrigerator, but it didn't have a bathroom, no.
Okay, and if at night, if no one was home in the main house, did you get into it?
No.
And so-
I would knock, and if no one was there, I could always sneak around and break in through a window that I knew about. But if nobody was home, I couldn't get in without breaking in.
Okay, did you ever use canyons for the bathroom?
Yes, I did.
Now and would there be problems when when your father would have friends over and you were in the pool room?
Yes, he asked me if I could keep all my things in a little dressing room stall so that it wouldn't look like anyone was living there. Because all it was a couch and a wet bar, and he wanted to keep it as a pool room. He didn't want it to look like someone was living on the couch there. So every morning I would pick up my stuff and throw it in the little dressing room area.
When your mother would come over to the house, would she sometimes bring the boys over to bring them back to the house and go into the house?
Yes, she would.
Okay. And was there, if the doors were locked, were there ways that people would get in the house through windows?
Yes, there's ways to break into my father's house.
Sometimes you could push the French doors and they would open?
Yes.
Okay. Would Linda ever call your mother names in front of you?
She wouldn't use profanity, but she would call her fat and stuff like that, crazy, things like that, but she wouldn't use bad language.
Do you remember testifying as to something about the crazy bitch? Do you remember that at all?
Vaguely. I don't remember her saying that exactly. She might have said something like that.
Would she say that about your mother in front of the boys?
Well, if we were sitting at the dinner table and Linda started to talk about my mom, my dad would tell her to stop because it made my brothers very upset. If Linda sat there and called her fat and crazy and things, my brothers would get upset. So my dad would ask Linda not to talk about my mom at the dinner table or in front of my brothers.
Okay. Did you ever hear your brothers asking your mother if she was crazy?
Yes.
Now, were you the machines, the answering machine there was an answering machine in the house at Cypress?
Yes.
Okay. And would you ever see Linda get involved in the answering machine and making tapes?
Yes, she would. If there was a message with obscene language from my mom, she would take the tape out of the machine and copy it on a different tape from my dad.
Okay. Was there ever a time where you would watch Linda listen to your mother call and then turn the ringers off and wait to see if she called back and left bad messages?
There was a time when the ringers were already off and the volume was low and the red light was on and you could tell that somebody was talking. So she turned up the volume and it was my mom talking and she told me, don't pick up the phone.
Okay. Now, what would her attitude be like when she got the tapes?
She'd be happy if she could get a tape with bad language. She would be doing my father a favor.
During the time that Was there ever a time when Linda was first in the house and your mother and father first split up? Was there times where she would wear what to the children and your mother were inappropriate clothes around the house?
She would wear a nightgown around the house, yes.
Okay, now are we talking about, are we talking about the kind of nightgown where someone has got the woolly cotton one? What kind of nightgown are we talking about?
Well, she would wear kind of silky lace, not. She would wear things that we didn't think she should be walking around the house.
Okay. Was there any conversations did you know whether your mother was talked to about that?
Yes. We did tell my mom that she would walk around the house in her nightgown.
Did Kim complain about that to your mother?
Yes.
The times that your mother would call up, was there any time of the year or anything that was going on that would make it difficult for her when she couldn't get a hold of the kids in the house?
Just, the calls for speculation.
It's the same.
Well, would there be times where you would notice, you would notice from knowing your mother that there was something going on that would make it certain times of the year, certain days of the year, where it was obvious that she was more upset not being able to talk to the children?
She'd be very upset if she couldn't talk to them on holidays and on their birthday and things like that. If she couldn't get in touch with them on holidays, she would try and call all day until she could get one of them on the line.
Was there something that was going on at Christmas time and Thanksgiving as far as the ringers and birthdays?
I don't know. I mean, sometimes they were turned off and sometimes they were turned on. But if she couldn't get through on a special occasion, she would be very upset.
And who do you usually spend Thanksgiving and Christmas with?
Our father.
Okay. And would you ask him about going over to visit your mother on Thanksgiving and Christmas?
Yes.
And what was his answer?
Well, every year it was different. Some years one year he let us take a cab over after Thanksgiving dinner. Another year he said that we could spend Thanksgiving with my mom a week later. And sometimes he would let us go over later that night on Christmas. Sometimes we wouldn't be able to see her till the next weekend of the Christmas vacation. It all depended on what year and when.
Okay. If you weren't able to visit with her on like Christmas or Thanksgiving, did you have problems in did he say no the next weekend when you would have the Thanksgiving dinner with your mother or the weekend? In other words, were you able to have it but a week late?
Yes, we would have Thanksgiving dinner, but my mom would make it a week after the real Thanksgiving.
Okay. Now, after, as the time went on, 86, 87, 88, did you notice a change in your mother as far as whether she was happy, sadder,
Yes.
weight, anything?
I noticed a huge change in my mother when my parents got separated. She was always upset. She got fat. She used to be really thin before they were married. She started using foul language. She never did that before. A lot of real noticeable changes happened to my mom after my parents got separated.
And as the years went on, did your mother seem to get more depressed or crying, less?
Yeah, it just seemed like she was getting worse.
Okay. And the weight changed from year to year, seemed to get heavier?
Yeah, I was always worried that she was going to hurt herself or something.
Did she change the way she was, even her habits of how she would walk to the beach and the exercise she'd get?
Yes, she used to walk to the beach and walk along the shores. And then as she got fatter, she would drive to get coffee and then park right there in the parking lot and then walk along the beach. She used to just walk from the house.
Okay. Did you ever see her just sitting on benches?
Yes. Mm-hmm. She spent a lot of time at the beach in the morning, early morning.
Did you were home at a time when your mother came over to and drove her car into your father's front door, weren't you?
Yes.
Okay. Now, when your mother first came over there, was your father home?
No.
And what did your mother tell you what she wanted at that time?
She said she wanted to talk to my dad, and she was going to wait there until he came home to talk to her.
Okay. Did your dad come home?
Yes, my sister called him.
Okay. And when your dad came home, what did your mother tell him?
She said, I want to talk to you about what went on with the house in court today.
Okay. And what did your father tell her?
talk to your
Did he talk to
lawyer.
her about it, or what did he say?
He said, talk to your lawyer.
The, did he eventually talk to her, or did he just?
He just told her to talk to her lawyer and to get off his property.
Okay. Now, did your mother came back, you were there, is that correct? With the car, when your
Yes,
mother hit
she
the car?
came back with the car, yes.
Okay, and so you were there when you heard the car hit the front door?
Yes,
What happened, did your father go out to the front where your mother was?
yes,
And did you go out there?
yes,
And what was was there an altercation between your mother and father?
yes.
And what happened?
Came out and stood in the doorway and was waiting for her not to. He said, I think Jesus bets, what are you doing? And he stood there and kind of waved her, and she came crashing into the house, and he jumped out of the way. And then she got out of the car and came at both of us.
Okay. And was there a physical altercation between them?
Yes. She grabbed him and he grabbed her, and I was in the middle.
Okay. Did she ever hit him?
Yes,
Okay. And did he hit her?
yes.
Okay. How did she hit him?
She was hitting him with the keys in her hand. She had a key ring in her hand, and she was whacking him on the head around me. I was in the middle between them, and she was reaching around me and slapping him on the head with her key ring.
And how did he hit her?
He finally pulled me out of the way and punched her right in the chest, and she fell down.
And at that time, did she have any weapons on her or in her vehicle?
I believe there was a knife found under the seat later on that day, but she didn't bring it out of the car.
Okay.
The police found it when they came.
Did you talk to the police about that at that time?
Yes,
And did you tell the police that your mother said she was going to kill herself with it?
I may have. I don't recall if that's what I told the police or not. I might have said that.
Did your mother say that?
I don't remember right now.
If you would have told the police, would that have been because your mother told you that?
Yes.
During 1989, was there a time when you were staying sometimes at your mother's house?
Yes.
Did you know someone by the name of Tom?
Yes, it was my sister's boyfriend.
Was there any calls coming to your mother's house from Tom late at night?
Objection, unless it's calls for personal.
Saying just rephrase it.
Do you know whether Tom was calling there late at night?
I would not be on the phone when he called, but yes, I knew that he was calling at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning, waking people up.
Okay. Did Kim say anything to you about Tom calling?
Yes.
Objection, under calls for hearsay.
Well, that actually can stand.
Okay, and what did Kim tell you?
Objection.
It's the same.
Your impeachment doctor testified there was no such conversation.
Well, you've already established those phone calls at 3 or 4 in the morning, the nature of the conversation, and I'll say relevance of that.
Was there any problems between Kim and her mother in regards to clothes?
Yes.
And what were those problems?
Objection, irrelevant.
Just put a time frame, Mr. Earl. Okay, saying.
During the time between 1985 and 1989, was there any problems between Kim and your mother with clothes where she went over to look for those, or she had to go over finally and look for them?
Kim would borrow clothes from my mother, and then she would not bring them back when my mom asked for them. So my mom she came to the house a few times looking for her stuff in Kim's room.
Were you aware of a trip that your mother had planned for Hawaii?
Hello, Grandma. Did you come to steal crowns? Well, thank you, Laura, for the super chat. Your gift to the No Crown Fund. Oh my goodness. I don't know who Lane Meyer is. I tried to look her up. I don't know. Master of the Extreme Close-Up. But I don't understand. He like went up the cameraman person went up the court reporter's body. It was weird. Carmen. True story right there. Yes, and Gabby has turned hers off. So Gabby will never have a crown. She said, down with the monarchy, but don't tell Haley. Why can't we have our crowns? I don't know. Because it keeps giving people them that aren't here. Oh, John Cusack and Better Off Dead. No wonder I couldn't find him. I was like, who is that? Also, if Carmen has a crown? See, I can't see him over here. Oh, she's number 2. Look at that. Grandma looks awesome in her crown. Just for fun, and if you ever get bored, you trust me, you will not get this bored ever. I was, I think I was on Freevee this morning because I was waiting for my husband to get up and out of bed. And there was this 1973 movie called Invasion of the Bee Girls. And I was like, what the heck is this? So I had to look at the trailer. Oh my gosh. It is so bad. It is so bad. It is about something that is affecting the women of Earth. And then they are getting, they're having sex with men and killing them and unaliving them by it because they're wearing them out. And it was the worst acting, the worst movie that I watched 15 minutes of, and I'm sad to say I did. So if you ever are that bored, just look up that movie. Also, you'll not get a crown. Grandma has been crowned the Queen of Crabs. It's like the movie Teeth. I don't know. But Teeth sounds familiar. But yeah, no. This was really bad. Really bad. There's boobs in it, though, so I'll tell you that. Real ones. Are you serious? Somebody mentioned that movie in the comment of one of your trivias. I didn't even know it was a thing. I'd never heard of it in my entire life, and I can go the rest of my life without ever hearing of it again. Oops. I can't, Peloton, I don't know why you don't have a crown. I would give you a crown myself if I could. I do not hand out the crowns. Ew. Good grief. Huh. Well, one of the men, who I'm sure was unalived later on in the show, made a joke about one of the other men because he thought he had a heart attack when he was with a woman. But no, she just him to death. Said, ha ha ha, how lucky he is to pass away, coming and going. I was like, that joke was around even then. Good for us. All right, back to this.
Where the children were in the
Yes. I believe she was just gonna take my sister and I to Hawaii with her.
Was there at the last minute, was there a cancellation of that plan?
My dad wouldn't let us go.
And how did visiting work at the house? If you were going to visit your mom, how would that? Was there some kind of schedule? How would that be arranged?
If we wanted to visit at our mom's house, we would have to make plans in advance. So we would ask my dad at the beginning of the week if we could go over and spend time with my mom for the weekend.
When would you find out whether you'd be able to?
He told us that he couldn't make his decision without speaking to the psychiatrist first, our psychiatrist. So he would usually talk to whoever he needed to talk to and give us an answer on Friday.
Did Linda have a knack for being able to imitate people?
Objection irrelevant.
Sustained.
Well, did she have the ability to, or did she do things that would be what she considered funny imitations of Betty? Or not?
Not that I recall.
Were you present at your father's home around the time of the wedding when something happened with the wedding list?
Yeah.
Okay. Did your mother come over to your father's house?
Yes, she did.
Okay. And do you know why she was over there?
Nope.
And was she with any of the boys? Do you know?
I don't remember. I think so, but I can't be sure.
Okay. And was there a wedding list in the house?
Yes, it was by the front door because somebody was coming to pick it up to write the invitations in calligraphy. And there's a calligrapher coming to the door and we were supposed to hand her the vanilla envelope.
Okay. After your mother was there, did the wedding list disappear from the front door?
I didn't see her take it, but the vanilla envelope was gone from the front door.
Did your father dress well most of the time? Or?
Yes.
Objection irrelevant.
Overruled, Nancy consent.
And normally, how would he be with the children? Was he someone who was a strict person, an affectionate person?
He was pretty strict. We had a certain set of rules that we had to live by. If we weren't home before curfew, we'd get put on restriction.
I have no further questions.
Well,
Thank you. Ms. Broderick, I wanted to ask you a few questions. Going back to the morning of November the 5th, when you came over to your house after shooting your dad and Linda. You indicated that she had asked you to get a key from the locked closet at her house in Calle de Cielo.
Yes.
Did she tell you exactly where that key was?
Yes, she said it was in a pewter cup on the mantle.
Was that something? Did you know that key was there before, or
No.
just because she told you that? Sort of?
Yes.
And did she tell you what it was that she wanted out of this locked closet?
She didn't. She just wanted the key. She didn't want anything from the closet. She just wanted the phone book and the key.
So she didn't want you to get the key and go into the closet and bring her something. She just wanted you to bring her the key.
Exactly.
And what was it that she kept in this locked closet?
She kept her valuables, her jewelry, some crystal vases, silver trays, bottles of wine.
Anything that was particularly valuable she kept in there?
She had a fire safe box that she kept all of her really important stuff in there. The jewelry in there, the papers, just stuff that she felt was really valuable was inside the room, inside a fire safe box.
Okay, so there was a fire safe box inside this also locked closet
Yes.
in the garage.
Right.
She also told you that she wanted you to get a phone book for her.
Yes.
Was this a particular phone book that she described?
I don't believe that she described it to me because I knew what it looked like already.
We're not talking about like the phone book that the county puts out.
She had a big burgundy phone book that had her initials on the front, and she would use that.
So it was her personal phone.
Yes.
And you indicated that when you went over to her house that morning, you were stopped by police officers.
Yes.
And at that time, you lied to them. They asked you if you'd seen your mother,
Yes.
and you said no.
Yes.
And that you You wanted to protect your mother at the time.
Yes. Well, I was more worried about protecting myself. I didn't want to get in trouble because she was over at my apartment.
Later in the day, you gave a full statement to Detective Allen about what you knew about that day.
Yes.
And at that time, you also still lied about.
Yes, I lied about who we were with. I had told him that my mom's friends had come to my apartment, honked, and she had come out to the car. That's a lie. That did not happen. We took her to pick up the friends and then to go to the police station. I didn't want to get the two people involved, so I just told the detective that I didn't know who they were.
And you didn't tell him where you had left your mother. You told him that
Yes.
the last time you had seen her then at your
Yes,
apartment.
I just said that some of her friends picked her up, they honked, and she left, and I didn't see her.
Now, the list of things that you said she wrote out for you that morning.
Yes.
Where was it that she wrote that list?
She was writing that list in the car when we were in front of the police station.
And what was she writing the list on?
A picture that she had found on the floor of Jason's car.
And it was like a Xerox sheet of paper picture?
Yeah, it was a headshot of Jason for modeling, and it was just a big picture of his face on a piece of paper that size.
And you indicated she put several things down, the combination of her storage garage and the name of her accountant and several other things.
Yes.
Correct? And she gave you that list.
Yes.
What happened to the list? Do you know where it is?
Yes.
What happened to it?
She gave me, I had it at my house for a while, and the investigator asked if I could look around for it, and I couldn't find it, but I'm moving, and I found it just yesterday.
Daddy Short Nuts. Thank you for the $1.99. I don't know if you're just being nice to me or if you're trying to buy yourself a crown. I'm not sure. But I appreciate it. So I will just take it. Me. No. Oh my gosh. No, wow. So I wish he was here. That is really old. That's a very old gamer tag that he had. Online gamer tag. And so he just has never changed it. He's had it since, I don't know if he's had it since college or since before college. But yeah, he's well, thank you, Daddy Short Nuts. I appreciate it. Battletown, game over. It'll be okay. It'll be all right. Yeah, he changed it finally because he used to have to give that email as that was his email, and he has a grown up email now. Uh-oh, Shani. The zoo. Man, and wow, I remember field trip days, and they just absolutely take it out of you. You want to see what happens if you drive you nuts not going everything in. You get a crown. That's what happened. You're number 2. Actually, you're tied point-wise with Ronnie. Not going everything in one chat like people do me while I'm working. Carmen, rigged. Just wanted Puddles to know. You went from 6 to 2. Okay. Well, you guys have fun with that. Belltown, if you get a crown, you're going to... Belltown, you have a crown. You're number 3. If I could turn it off for my whole channel, I would. But I cannot. Not yet. Maybe they'll let me. I knew you wanted that. I knew you wanted a crown. I didn't believe you for a second, Puddletown. Wear it proudly for as long as you can. Somebody's coming after it.
Do you have it?
I don't have it with me, but it is at my house, yes.
Okay. Now, you also indicated that she wrote you a will, or what purported to be a will.
Yes.
Where was she when she did that?
I believe she was in the car because Diane and Ronnie signed it. She wrote them at the same time.
And what did she write that on?
A piece of yellow notebook paper.
And do you know where the piece of notebook paper came from?
No.
What happened to that will? Do you know where that
It's probably at my house somewhere. I wouldn't have thrown it away. It's probably in the piles of junk that I have at home.
And she also wrote you a check for $10,000 that day, right?
Yes.
Here I may have marked as People's Exhibit 55,
56.
56. A single sheet of Xerox paper purporting to show two sides of the check.
Somewhere.
You're being at 55.
No, 55 was a cassette tape from this witness's answering machine the morning of the homicides. So this is 56.
If you could take a look at what's been marked as People's Exhibit 56. Do you recognize that check?
Yes, I do.
Is that the check that your mother wrote to you that morning?
Yes.
And she made it out to you, Kathy Lee Broderick?
Yes.
Now, it's dated November the 4th,
Mhm.
which, and that morning was November the 5th.
Right.
Can you explain that if you can?
I think she just made a mistake on the date.
Where was it that she wrote the check?
She wrote this check. I didn't see her write it, but she gave it to me before we left my apartment.
Okay, so you were still at your apartment, you hadn't gotten in the car and driven
Right.
off anywhere.
Right.
And did you see where she got the checkbook or how she was doing it?
I just recall talking about how much she should write it for, but I don't actually remember her taking out her checkbook and writing it. I remember us discussing that she had just received her $16,000 check from my father, and she had paid some bills out of it, so we agreed on $10,000 amount to split between the four of us.
So she acknowledged to you that morning that she had just recently received her alimony check of $16,000.
Well, not that morning, but she said that she had $16,000 in her account, but she had paid some bills out of it, and she wanted to give me as much as she could.
Now, do you recall when you testified back at the preliminary hearing, which was a while ago, do you recall testifying that when your mother sent you to the condo, that she sent you over there specifically to get her diaries, her book, I believe another phone book, and some index cards?
Your Honor, I'm going to object that it's leading. This is redirect on this area, and it's improper impeachment.
Sustained.
Do you think it would refresh your recollection, take a look at your testimony at the preliminary
Yes.
hearing? If I could approach the witness, Your Honor, and I
Certainly.
counsel to page 116 of the preliminary hearing transcript.
Lines.
Lines 16 through 22.
Thank you.
If you could go ahead and just read that to yourself. Does that help refresh your recollection about what it was that she wanted you to get at the condo?
A little bit. It wasn't another phone book, it was the phone book. We never found it at the house. At the first place we looked, we didn't find it. So it was the same phone book that we were looking for. And I don't remember if she had told me that she wanted those things, or if I had got the box and looked at them and then figured out what they were. I just remember her telling me she wanted the whole box underneath the desk in the garage where your feet would be if you pulled the chair in. That's what she told me.
So
And once I got the box, I opened it and looked through it. So that's how I knew that there were books and diaries and index cards and things like that. So I looked through the box before the police told us to get in their car.
she's the one that specifically directed you to this box and where it
Yes.
was. And do you recall testifying before that when you went to the condo to get these things, that you didn't get into the condo, that the police stopped you before you got in?
Your Honor, objection is still an improper impeachment.
Sustained. Just please read that to her.
Well, Puddletown, I at least feel like this super chat is sent from your heart and is really meant for me. It's heartfelt. Just kidding. Congratulations on your crown. but I'll take your $2. Got it. Thanks. Oh, what's happening?
So that's in there. See if we refresh the recollection first.
Okay, I'm going to direct your attention to an interview that you gave to an investigator from the DA's office, pages 2 and 3. And if you would read,
Date of the interview and the name of the person writing the report.
the investigator is Bill Green, Your Honor, and the date is, you can find it, February 23rd, 1990. The last paragraph on this page through line 17 on the next page,
Okay.
Page 1.
page 2 and 3.
Well, I say that she didn't give us a key, so we couldn't get in. We broke in. We climbed up on the roof and broke out the bedroom window of her condo to get into there.
Nice.
Well,
Okay, so when you indicated that when you got to the condo, the police were there and took you with them.
right. That's not correct.
Okay.
We went with the police after on our way out of the condo.
And what did you do with the box of stuff?
We left it in Jason's front seat of his car. And then later on, I gave it to Diane Black the next day.
Now, other than that list of things that she gave you that morning, from jail, she also wrote you several letters in the first couple of weeks after she got there.
Yes.
And also made some requests to have you do certain things. Is that
Yes.
correct? Your Honor, may I have marked as People's Exhibit 57? A 4-page document which purports to be a copy of a letter to Kathy Lee Broderick.
So Mark.
Again, Ms. Broderick, if you could just take a
Your
look
Honor,
at
may I see that? I didn't bring all the letters that are,
All right.
Really, Carmen? Really? Thank you, Carmen, for the $2 Pearls and Titties super chat. Oh my gosh. Carmen. Some reason I have a feeling you really laughed out loud when I read that, but thank you, I think. Don't let anybody feel like they gotta one-up that.
Can you just take a look at that and see if you recognize that as a letter that your mother sent to you from jail?
Should I read this too?
Is that part of the letter that your mother sent to you from jail?
Yes, I believe it is.
And the letter is dated November the 16th, is that correct?
Yes.
And in this letter, she requests that you do, she entitles it Loose Ends, and gives you a list of things to do and puts a check mark on the other side where it says check here when done.
Yes.
And some of those things were, for example, to remove certain things from the house and take them over to the condominium.
Yes.
and she wanted you to
Your
meet.
Honor, I have an objection as to leading.
Same.
Did she?
I have an objection as to if anyone's going to super chat about bee stung titties. Good Lord. And emotional support poles. Around here, it's going to be me, sister. Thanks, Puddletown. Titties. Did I say that right? I don't say that word a lot, if you can't tell. I feel like a Cartman. I should respect your authority and your titties. Okay, I guess.
Did she ask you to meet with the decorator and do certain things with the decorator for the condominium? Would it help refresh your recollection to take a look at it?
Yes, let me see here.
What is it that she wanted you to do as far as the condo was concerned and the decorator?
There was an oak floor that they were installing, and it hadn't been installed yet. She wanted me to meet them at the condo, make sure that they did their work.
And she gave you the name of the decorator.
Well, hello, expert and expert chat. How are you? Hello, freckled ginger. How are you doing? Miami Spice. Oh, my. Uh-oh. Miami Spice probably give you a run for your crown, Puddletown. I saw her getting #1 before the expert started his stream. Hello, T42, Jeffrey Montgomery, and Vice Baby. How you guys doing? Yes, hello, Raiders. Thank you, expert. Welsh Lady Reads. We are watching, what's up, Bad Duck? You gave her your 200 experience from the expert stream. We are watching a trial from 1991. This is the second trial that Court TV ever showed. This is Betty Broderick. If you were alive then, you probably remember her. She's the one who unalived her husband and his new wife of 6 months while they were sleeping in their bed. And currently, right now, their daughter is on the stand testifying to what happened the day that the incident happened. Oh, really? Hello, Yamaha biker. Oh, AJ, the horrible things expert was saying. Well, where is he? He just dropped you off, drove away. Fine. Fine. Thank you, Freckle Ginger. Yes, and the cameraman seems to like this witness's chest and the pearl necklace she's wearing. Yamaha biker, those things are about you. I don't know. No one's ever going to tell me. But that's hilarious. Yes, expert is too big for all us little people now. I know. Thank you, Welsh Lady Reads. I appreciate it. Oh, well, you guys have fun. Chat's been a little all over the place tonight because of these freaking crowns and making me read weird things that they know I don't normally say. So he had to do 3D stuff. Oh, well, next time. Next time. Yes, Puddletown is trying. Puddletown, you have to work hard to hang on to that #3 now. Yes, I mean, like with you normally, Bad Duck. That's exactly what I mean. You did keep it clean, Shenny. I will say that you you have kept it clean. But my daughter just she just sent me she, this. She just sent it again. Oh, thank you, Carmen, for Pearls and Titties 2.0. I don't know how you guys get points. I don't know. Oh my. Oh, Carmen. It's okay, Shane Reynolds. It was already derailed. Wherever you went, there you are. Oh, sorry, Bad Duck. I keep clicking on you. You're moving too fast. Anyway, Shane Reynolds, it's okay. Ah. Titties and beer. Shani, because they are our mini-me's. She is her mini dad. Thank you, Tail. Super chats are supposed to get you points, but they do not. They do not. It's okay. I like when you push my button. Oh, it's there. I gotcha. It's okay. We're used to it too. It's all right. I take my titties everywhere I go. Me too. Always with me. My husband's gonna be like, "Who are you What are you talking about in there?" Oh my goodness. Yes, let's go. Get that number one. I never yell at you. Don't tell these people lies. Do not tell these people lies. I have never yelled at you. I may shake my head and smile, but that's it. I have read all your stuff today and just laughed because some of it's been hilarious. But I can't. Ronnie. Ah. Thank you, Ronnie. I'm good with sticks and picks. Oh my goodness. You do not get scolded. Puddletown, you are going to get scolded if you don't quit lying. Oh no, I just saw one. I don't know. Am I going to say that first word right? Oh my God. We be twins and we just met. Did I say it right? Thank you, Freckle Ginger. Oh, I'm going to die. So tagging Ronnie and my add points faster. I don't know. Puddletown. All right. I love you, AJ, and I love YouTube. It's the best platform. Where else can you see tiny titties and get crowns? I don't know the answer. Ah, Bad Duck. What are you saying? How are blondes' breasts and a pad alike? Neither are recommended for the beach and both come in different absorbency levels. Absolutely, Jeff Montgomery. They don't do it because Gabby tried that last night she tried sending a super sticker, and she got nothing. Nothing. Yes, they do, Freckled Ginger. Yes, they do. My daughter might disagree because she only loves like double D's and up. You have 150 points. Uh-oh. All right. I'm going to hit play. You guys keep chatting. If I have to stop, I will stop because I'm having a great time. And thank you guys all for hanging out. And I'm pushing. Don't tell me what to do, Puddle Town. I'm trying to live my life. Push the button when I want to push the button.
A decorator and a number to reach you by.
Yes.
Did she want you to get some hair coloring for her?
Yes.
She wants you to get a garage door opener and move an ironing board to the condo?
Yes.
Want you to hold the mail from both of the homes for her?
Yes.
Pay for the storage garage?
Yes.
She wrote you several other letters during that period of time. What's some things that she wanted you to do?
Yes. She was writing me letters with directions on where I should put all the things in her house and where she wanted me to put them in the condo.
Shortly after your father and Linda were killed, Kim and Danny and Rhett went to Colorado, is that correct?
Yes.
But you stayed here in San Diego?
Yes.
And with respect to your best recollection of what your mother told you about why she pulled the phone out of the wall, do you recall indicating that she told you she pulled the phone out of the wall because your dad was reaching for the phone?
Your Honor, objection is leading.
Stay.
What is?
There you are, my friend. Thank you for the raid. You also sent everybody over when we were talking about boobs. And we're still talking about boobs. So just be warned. Can't help it. Sorry. Yeah, some people care about size. Some people don't care about size. They just want the boobs. Jeffrey Montgomery, you're just too nice. Oh, Ronnie said LOL and she's number one. Sorry. Yes, Gabby. It was at least the expert this time and not Baker. And you weren't the one who said it. Yes. Although Baker missed a prime opportunity to come in when you were being extra sexual last night. That may have been. I can neither confirm nor deny. I don't know. Yes, Carmen, we all know you care. That's just period, full stop. You need pillows all the time, apparently. Uh-oh, fell down. Oh, bad deck. I'm scared. An elephant asked a camel, why are your breasts on your back? Well, says the camel, I think that's a strange question from somebody whose wiener is on his face. Oh my gosh. Wow. Okie dokie. Thank you, Welsh Lady Reads, for the kind words. Appreciate it. Took a long time to find out I'm a sap. The full term is sapiosexual. I'm probably saying that way wrong. I will believe you that it's a real thing. I don't know. I believe you. At least you're not a duck with poop stuck to your tail feathers. Puddletown, play nice. I did? All right. High five for me. I'm the worst at trying to pronounce words. I swear. Bad duck. I don't know. Puddletown's got away with a lot today, and I didn't yell at him, and I've never yelled at him. I just shake my head. Yes, you do. You love it. You love it. Google says that, my goodness, I'm so sorry. My stomach's being extra loud and stupid tonight. And no, I'm not hungry. Google says, I don't even remember how I said it. Sapiosexuality means that a person is sexually attracted to highly intelligent people. Well, I may disappoint you. They drain the puddle. Uh-oh, Ronnie's crown is up for grabs. She has to go do some woman's work. Frolicking is over for Ronnie. Someone with an attraction to sap from pine trees. That sounds, ow. Saplosexual. That sounds painful. I need more coffee. I thought Welsh Lady Reads told expert that was a great shower, and I thought, well, maybe that's why. That Welsh Lady Read is mad. Talk about weird. A weird long distance tryst. I don't want to know. Don't know. Oh. No. Sometimes. It's a joke about a trial that we watched a while ago about the guy that basically said that women are to do nothing more than frolic on the beach, make sandwiches, and do women's work. That guy also drank his own urine, so, what did he know? Oh, sorry. Patrick W. B top view. O front view, B side view. That's how you spell boo. B-O-O-B. Oh my goodness. Wait, did I miss? Uh-oh. Oh, the white rabbit is mad. I was like, who's TWR? I didn't even. Oh my gosh. Sorry. I told you. Yamaha Biker and I have not met, expert. I hope we can hit it off. It is sticky. I don't want to know. I don't think so. I don't think so. I think you have a clean slate. He drank his urine because he thought it was because it was filtered through his kidneys, right? That it was pure and clean and gross. And he's an idiot, and he was also in a cult, and he's still in a cult, but now I think he's in federal prison for other things that they did. Yes, don't drink your urine. Not even for survival. Like, don't do it. If that's what you're talking about. No, don't drink your urine, expert. I don't know how it tastes because I've never done that. No, I was talking about a guy in a cult. And him and the head guy, Drew, this other woman was having a mental health episode, and instead of getting her help, they didn't. She ended up unaliving her infant child and trying to unalive herself. So it was really a sad thing. But yes, this guy drank his own urine, acted like he was the smartest man in the room, and it was amazing. They had a female attorney question him because he hated it. All right, Carmen, go play some games with your brother. Be nice. Don't fight. All that stuff. Thanks for making me say titties and pearls 1,000 times. Have a good night. You're thinking of starting a cult for tax reasons? Depends on what I would have to do. Do I have to? There's a lot of culty things I don't want to do. No, it is none of those things. I'm telling you, it doesn't know how it works. Although Shinny came in and she told Puddletown what to do, and he did it, and he had been trying all night to get some points and wasn't able to. Whatever Shinny said, and I couldn't read it because I was busy looking at other chats, and she was doing it like one at a time. But so maybe she'll come back and tell us how to do it. Expert says I don't have to drink urine. You wouldn't bet on it. I'm not drinking urine. Wait, Gabby. Dang it. Thank you, Gabby, for the $2 super chat of titties and pearls in Carmen's name. That's weird, Gabby. Yeah, I don't want to have to do that. Oh, here's Shenny. See, you say her name and she shows up. I don't want to drink urine. In Australia, roughly 20 years ago, an AFL player who had terminal cancer drank his urine to try to extend his life. Unfortunately, he lost his battle. He was an Irishman. I'm telling you, it's not clean. It's not. Let's see. I was very annoyed with the way that I kept typing in my thought. Before you knew it, they thought I was special enough to earn a spot. I don't know, Jeff, but it worked for her. And worked for Puddletown. You'll be the banker. Just J Hip is going to prison apparently, so your services will be available soon. I will do almost anything except drink urine. Sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to ruin it. I'm so special. I'm so special. Didn't you try this last night, Bad Duck, and it didn't work? Yes, but it's really not. It's not. Yeah, it's not really sterile. Ew. Would you want to use it on your window? And then, like, what if you accidentally forgot and then, like, you put your head against the window? Yes, almost anything. Almost. It's very broad. Oh. Bad Duck got himself put in timeout last night. We did not put him in timeout. YouTube put him in timeout. That's right. Whatever that is. Did anybody ever figure out what that is? Did he ever tell? Oh, you did? Gabby. Oh, no. No. I will believe you and you can enjoy all the urine you want to enjoy. I'm just going to flush mine away at the end of the day. Or, well, not at the end of the day, when it's ready. You you like Uno reversed him. If you listen, she gives a bunch of examples. I haven't heard that song in a long time. I'll have to listen again. Gabby put Bad Duck in timeout and then she Uno reversed him. You've run into several of that and then nope, I won't do that. Aw, Puddletown. Let's see the titties. Why do I always sound like Cartman? All right, Puddletown. I will, since you. Last time that happened, it messed up your chat for months. All right, here we go. Hello, Sharon. I meant to say. You are, Ronnie. You are still numero uno. The stream has gone to the crapper. I must shake myself free, but no more than twice, then I'm just playing. That's right. Don't you forget it. That is right. Don't do it. Don't do it more than twice. Because then you might get in trouble. I don't know why or how. I mean, if you don't tell anybody, you'll be fine. So, all right, I'm hitting play. You guys keep on chatting. Do what you do. You guys do you. Bad Duck has a record. He has a star.
Would it help to see what you indicated to Detective Allen that day about what your mother said? Would it help to refresh your recollection?
No.
No, I object to leading and suggestive.
Show her the report, see if it's refresh your recollection.
Well, Your Honor, she said she doesn't need something to refresh her recollection at that time, so why would you show her something?
Well, we wouldn't, but based on her answer, you started to object before she answered. So I was answering your objection. The answer stands.
And what was it that your mother said was the reason for why she pulled the phone out of the wall?
I don't remember her exact words, but it was something. She pulled it out of the wall so that he couldn't save himself or call for help. Something like that. I don't remember her exact words. I don't remember if she told me she pulled the phone out or she yanked it out. I don't remember if her exact words were that so he couldn't call for help or so that he couldn't save himself. But it was something like that. All right.
Now, you also indicated that your mom said something that morning about that she wasn't sure whether or not she hit your dad when she shot him. Is that?
She said she wasn't sure if she had hit anyone because it was dark and the drapes were drawn. She couldn't see.
But she did acknowledge that he had said something to her about being shot.
Yes.
And did she also say anything else about refer to something that your dad previously said had been in an article about this won't be over until one of us is gone?
When at my house on Sapphire talking about why she wanted to kill herself, why she was so upset, she told me that she had felt empty inside and she was terribly upset about the Reader article where my dad was quoted in saying that.
Do you recall her saying that he said it won't be over until one of us is gone, so I guess one of us is gone
Your
now?
Honor, I have objection as leading.
Sustained.
Well, okay. Do you recall talking about that again with Detective Allen.
Yes.
No, first of all, I'm going to object that it's leading. I didn't go into this area at all, and we did have an agreement as to who was going to cross and direct. Mr. Burkhoff did direct in this area.
But you took her as your witness, so she can be on cross for that. But it is outside the scope, so on that basis, it's sustained.
Oh, by the way, Ben Stein. Okay, not really, but Ben Stein is the lawyer for Betty, for the defendant. And the judge is still alive. He's 85 and he's still on the bench in federal court, I believe. Prosecutor here was a judge. She retired and she never allowed cameras in her courtroom because of this trial. Fun facts, or not so fun facts. Yes, Jeffrey Montgomery, I am remembering all those things that you listed now. Yes, now I remember it. Thank you. You jogged my memory. Yes, and he objects after days of him asking stupid questions, although his cross of her was pretty quick for him. Yes, and you guys miss life-size mannequins that were in the corner doing things to each other. Every day they were moved. We don't know why or how they were moved. And then one day they were just gone. So they ran off on a mannequin honeymoon, or we don't know. They might have a trial later, but they were the weirdest mannequins. They also had dowel rods through them. We did. We had a story around the mannequins. I'm going to have that song going through my mind the rest of the night. Jeffrey Montgomery. They left for divorce court. See, Puddletown, that's pessimistic. I was optimistic. They were getting reach arounds. You just never know what you're going to see in court. Ever. Also, this trial is old enough that we've seen some kind of bad pictures. I don't think we'll see any today. So just be aware, because they did not censor any of the crime scene photos. It was quite the whole thing. It was a whole thing, Puddletown.
The incident where your dad, where your mother drove the car through the front door, you indicated that after she got out of the car, that she attacked your dad with the key ring, right?
Yes.
Do you recall that you told Detective Allen that your mother attacked your dad with a knife?
I might have said that, but that didn't happen.
And again, just if you take a look to see if this refreshes your recollection, referring to Detective Allen's report, page 7, the lines 26 through 28.
Right. I probably did say this to Detective Allen, but it's not the truth.
Okay. So you told Detective Allen that she tried to stab him with a knife that day?
Right, but she didn't. I did tell Detective Allen that, but that didn't happen. She had a knife with her, but she never actually tried to stab him with it.
Do you recall?
She might have threatened, but she didn't actually have the knife in her hand.
Did she threaten to stab him with a knife?
Probably, yes.
And you saw the knife in the car yourself?
Yes.
Do you recall where it was when you saw it?
I believe it was on the seat of the car.
And when you say on the seat of the car, the passenger side, driver's side?
Well, there's one long bench seat in the Superman. It was on the seat next to her.
So if you're sitting in the driver's seat, it would be like on your right-hand side?
Yes.
And could you describe the knife?
It was I believe it had a black handle. It was about this big.
Just for the record, Your Honor, the witness is indicating, and I'm not good on distances, 10 inches? Is that
About 10 inches.
10 inches to a foot? And had you seen that knife in her Suburban before?
No.
Did you know your mother to carry a knife in the car before? Did she ever talk about carrying the knife?
She carried a Swiss Army knife in her purse, but that was the only knife that I know that she carried around with her.
Now, there were some problems with, there was a period of time when you didn't have keys to your dad's
Yes.
house, correct?
Correct.
There had been some problems with some keys that you had had where your mother had gotten a copy of the key.
Well, my dad would periodically change the locks, and he mysteriously, my mom would get in when the locks would be changed. So he assumed that it was my fault that my mom was getting access to the keys through me. I don't know where they came from,
Right.
but the last time he got the locks changed, he didn't want any type of accident to happen where my mom would find the key or get access to the key. So he told me that since I was the one that spent most time with my mom, that I was not allowed to have a key to his house.
And it was, I mean, it wasn't necessarily that it was your fault. It was that you spent time with
Right.
your mother. And so if there was an opportunity for her to get the keys, that was there, right?
Right.
But with respect to after the last lock change, and when the key to your dad's house was this big key, you never had this key.
I will take your word for it, Jeffrey Montgomery, because asking me to do math on a good day is not good. Because as the cult leader's little lackey told me, I'm not good at math. And I also told myself that. So, but I'll believe you. I will believe you.
Is that correct?
I believe I had it for a week or so, and then my dad went on vacation, and he took my key from me and gave it to the babysitter. And then when I asked for it back, I was not allowed to have it back.
Which babysitter would that have been, Sylvia?
No, I believe it was Linda David that was staying with us that time.
And with Sylvia Cavan, she was the most recent babysitter.
Yes.
She was the babysitter for a couple of years
Yes.
before your father was killed. And would she have had the key to the house as well?
Yes.
When your mother took you over to your dad's house at Coral Reef at the very beginning there, that was a situation where you were pretty upset at the time, correct?
Yes, I was very upset. I was crying. I didn't want to go.
So it wasn't something where you had been pleading with her for the week before to let you go over there.
No, I was begging for her to let me stay.
And you indicated that when you got over there, when she dropped you off, Kim and Danny were already there.
Yes.
And when she left you, it was just the three of you then at home. Your dad wasn't at home at the time.
Right.
And there was a period of time for a couple of months there where you all slept on the floor in sleeping bags.
Yes.
Your mother was often critical about the place where your dad lived, wasn't she, about the house?
She was upset that the boys lived so far away from La Jolla and their friends and their activities and things.
Did she ever talk, though, in derogatory manner about your dad's house, that it was at the house in the slums?
Yes. She didn't like the area. The Hillcrest area has homosexuals, and she didn't like the idea of us playing and riding our bikes around. And there's also a busy street. University Avenue is right there, and she was complaining that it was a busy street and just a bad place to live.
And she would say that to you and to
Yeah.
the boys. So she didn't want you living in Daytown, or she didn't want you
Yes.
living in the slums.
Right.
And you also acknowledged that that Linda at the very beginning tried very hard to be nice with you and with the boys and have a relationship with you.
She wanted very much to be accepted into our family. She tried to be as friendly as she could with us, giving us presents and things.
Your mom did tell you and tell the boys sometimes to get rid of Linda, to kick her out of the house, things like that.
Yes.
And she also would constantly ask you and Kim and the boys about what was going on in the house, what your father and Linda were doing, what they were wearing, where they were going, things like that.
She would ask, but we would also volunteer information about what was going on in our life over there.
Do you recall telling Investigator Green that she questioned you constantly, question
Oh, yeah.
after question after question?
Yeah, she wanted to know what was going on, who was babysitting us, where they were going, who they were going with, when they were coming back, things like that.
The situation with your sister Kim in Arizona shortly before your dad and Linda were killed, had she talked to you about her discussions with her dad?
Kim had, yes.
Yes, Kim had.
Mhm.
And it wasn't, she had told you that it wasn't that your dad wasn't willing to pay for the apartment. It was simply he wanted her to keep looking to see if she could find a cheaper apartment.
She had told me that he thought that it was too much and that he wasn't going to pay that much. It was more than half of what she paid last semester in her other apartment. And my dad had told Kim that that was way too much and to keep looking.
And you indicated that Kim often would come over and talk to your mom about her problems, just problems in general. When she was
Yes.
having problems with a boyfriend or a girlfriend or a
Yes.
teacher, and you would do the same thing.
Yes.
And you said that your dad, when he would come home from work, he would often have either a gin and tonic or a glass of wine.
Mhm.
Did you think your dad was an alcoholic?
No.
When he'd come home, you indicated that he would, from Monday through Friday anyways, he would, as a matter of course, he would sit and have dinner with you all.
Yes.
That was a family thing to do.
Yes. We had to be home on time.
And when he picked you up on that one occasion, you said that you felt that he had been drinking. He allowed you to drive the car, is that correct?
Well, what happened was him and Linda had been out to dinner in La Jolla, and I was at a friend's house in La Jolla. They were supposed to pick me up, and they were late. So I got a call from the car phone at my friend's house that said they were at dinner in La Jolla. They'd be there and to wait out front, and should be there in 5 minutes. I got in the car, and my dad asked me if I had been drinking. And I said, no, I hadn't been drinking. And he said, well, good, because Linda and I have been drinking at dinner, and I don't want to get in trouble for another DUI. Why don't you drive the car? So I drove home.
You had your learner's permit,
Yes, I did.
and that was something that you liked to do. You liked to
Yes.
drive the car.
It was the first time I'd ever driven his Jaguar. That's why I remember it so well.
And you also talked a little bit about your dad, that he sometimes had kicked the dogs, right?
Yes,
And you've described that before as being no big deal, right?
right.
Okay. And you've described that defense counsel had tried to urge you into making it more of a big deal than it really was, right?
Correct. I didn't think it was that big of a deal. Everybody knew he didn't like the dogs. So it wasn't like he'd go out of his way to hurt them.
And when the boys were living with your dad, they wanted to have dogs, right?
Yes, my brothers loved their dogs, and when my parents got separated, they wanted the dogs to be with them.
And your dad let them have the dogs, right?
Not at first, no.
Okay, but there came a time when
There came a time when my mom had to leave town, and she didn't want to leave the two dogs alone. So she came over and put them in the front door at the house. She opened the door and let the two dogs in.
Did the dogs stay there ever after that?
Yes, they did. For a little while.
You indicated that your mother was unhappy with some of the babysitters, right?
Yes.
It's true that she was dissatisfied with all of the housekeepers.
Not all of them. I mean, I do know a few housekeepers that she liked, but she had different reasons for not liking each one.
Robin Ta'ua, she ended up becoming a pretty good friend of the family.
Yes,
She and her husband were invited to your dad's wedding,
yes.
And
We all went, the whole family went to the wedding.
and she cared about you guys, didn't she?
Yes.
And the problem with the food, you indicated there was a problem with the food at the very beginning. When you say at the very beginning, you mean at the beginning of your parents' separation?
Well, yeah. But we had to make our own food when my parents first separated. And we were at my dad's house in Corey. We were fending for ourselves.
Right.
But once we got a babysitter, they would prepare us dinner.
But as far as the complaints about the food, you indicated it was complaints that there was basically no good junk food around, right?
Right, just nothing to eat besides dinner food that the maids would prepare for the evening dinner.
That was something that was taken care of.
Right, once we complained enough, my dad talked to the babysitter, wrote out a list of what kind of junk food we wanted, fruit rolls, chips, pretzels, things like that. He wrote it down and gave it to Robin, and then she started to buy those things for us.
And that was way back in 1986 when
Right.
Robin was working for you. You remember that when you testified last Thursday, that you had indicated that, as far as your recollection of your parents' marriage, that you thought they were pretty happy?
I thought they were happy up until the time my mom burned his clothes. That's the first time I realized that something was wrong.
Do you recall telling a judge at the divorce trial that you recalled your parents fighting a lot?
No.
If I could show, Your Honor, the witness, the transcript from the divorce trial, page 590, just to see if this refreshes your recollection.
Is this the time that my brothers and I went to talk to the judge in the chambers?
And directing your attention to page 590, lines 6 through 16.
Right. Well, I say here that when I was really little, they didn't fight at all. But then they started to fight really bad, like all the time. Right. When I was really young, up until I was in the 7th grade, is when I noticed my parents starting to fight more and more. But
The judge basically just asked you if you thought your father was the one who was entirely responsible.
right.
And you had indicated no, that if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out, and that your parents fought a lot.
Right.
Your Honor, perhaps this would be a good time for the break. I need a few minutes to collect my thoughts here before I wake up.
All right, what's 2 minutes to 12? That's close enough. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll take our noon recess at this time. Please remember the admonition not to discuss the case among yourselves nor allow anyone else to discuss it with you, nor form any opinions on it until it's finally submitted to you. See you at 1:30, and hopefully we will start at 1:30 sharp. Madam people of the state of California versus Elizabeth Ann Broderick. The record should reflect that no members of the jury panel are present. We're on the record at the request of the electronic media with regard to 2 separate orders, one being sought by the district attorney as to the testimony of a witness who has not as yet testified. The offer of proof as to that witness was that she was a jail inmate with the defendant at one point in time, and that she talked to a counseling attorney, Maureen Franco, who was ordered up here by the court last Thursday to talk to her. But that witness requested that the court limit the film and electronic media coverage of her testimony, basically for 2 reasons. She didn't want to be labeled as a snitch, and that she has been in jail several times and anticipates, apparently realistically, that she may be going back into custody, and also because the area town that she lives in. There was no objection to Mr. Early for that order. Second issue before us is with regard to the continued testimony of Ms. Lee Broderick. This morning, Mr. Early requested on behalf of Ms. Lee Broderick that her testimony no longer be covered by the electronic media or film. There was no objection to that by the people. I believe that accurately sets the background. Is that correct, Ms. Wells, Mr. Early?
Yes.
And now, counsel, you state your appearance and go ahead.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you for taking me out of order. My name is Edward McIntyre with the Great Harry Ancient Fry Law Firm. I represent in this proceeding all 3 of the television stations, KNSD, KGTV, KFMB.
All right, go ahead, sir.
First of all, Your Honor, just a quick procedural point. There is presently on hold on the telephone an attorney by the name.
Wait, is the person that's supposed to come testify from prison now I missed that. She watched Lee's testimony and now they don't want Lee's testimony filmed or audio. And then now this guy's there to argue freaking Lee's testimony probably to be on television because they've been doing it this whole entire time. And that prison person is supposed to testify after Lee. All right. I got to slow this guy back down because he's talking a little faster. Yeah, well, too bad. You're probably already labeled as one now.
Of William Brockett. He tells me, I spoke with him briefly, he tells me that he represents Court TV. We have talked for 2 or 3 minutes. He asked me to ask the court's permission. He is from San Francisco, that's why he's not here in the urgency of this. And he asked me to ask the court whether he could participate by telephone. I told him I would put his request.
I have no objection, assuming he'd be able to hear what's going on. I can't vouch for that. Did either the parties have an objection to that? Fine, if he can hear what's going on, put him on. We don't have a speakerphone in here is the problem.
Oh, speakerphones like
No.
Zoom.
The problem would be that I don't think we can, in the courtroom, there's no way to make it available so he can hear what's going on. We could be able to hear him, but I don't think he can hear us.
I explained that to him. I believe the court did not have speakerphone capability. I explained that to Mr. Brockett. Sorry.
We don't. So you can let him know that, yes,
They
sir.
paged him.
I will be here representing Court TV. If he is not able to communicate, I can either communicate with him by phone.
That's,
Or
can
on
you
behalf
state your name for the record?
Steve Johnson with Courtroom Television Network.
Thank you. If you want to take the phone by my bailiff's table there and talk to him, tell him what's happened, I have no objection. We just don't have the capability.
Hi, this is administrator. You can speak, but you cannot hear what's being said. So,
Right. Go ahead, Mr. McIntyre.
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, let me address the orders that, as I understand, have been entered from what Your Honor's preamble. Let me address the Lee Broderick order first, and then I'll move on to the Maria Peralta order.
All right.
I am assuming, Your Honor, that those orders do not preclude any coverage such as the media may care to give to this particular hearing. Is that correct?
No, that's correct.
Okay, fine. As I'm sure the court knows, there has already been a decision of the Fourth District Court of Appeal arising in the Broderick prosecution. It's KFMB TV Channel 8 versus the municipal court. It arose out of the preliminary hearing in this case where there was again restriction imposed by the court with respect to filming. Not precisely the same restriction that Your Honor has imposed.
I think the restriction there had to do with the judge was allowing electronic media to record it, but then wanted to edit what could be shown after he had allowed it to be recorded, if I'm not mistaken.
Precisely right.
All right.
That's exactly the case.
Go ahead.
In reaching the decision that it reached there, what the Fourth District Court of Appeal said was, nonetheless, we cannot ignore the important role the electronic media play in disseminating public information. Rule 980, which is the one that governs, as we all know, the electronic media in the courtroom, recognizes that media access should be granted, except where to do so will interfere, 1, with the rights of the parties, 2, diminish the dignity of the court, or 3, impede the orderly conduct of the proceedings. Then the court went on to discuss whether it was going to mandate, as I was urging it to do, findings from the trial court, and then went on and said that while we won't mandate it, we therefore urge the trial court to briefly explain on the record why access is being denied when it is being denied. Let me start from that, Your Honor, because it is arguably the law of the case in this case, and it's also one of the 2 pronouncements on Rule 980, this one from the District Court of Appeal. As I understand the state of affairs at the moment, Your Honor, Ms. Broderick has been seen both in the print media and on television so far in this proceeding and in the proceeding that preceded this one. 2, state the obvious, Ms. Broderick is not a party in this proceeding. Most importantly, as every court who has dealt with the rights of the media has said, the rights of the media are no greater than at public trials, are no greater than the rights of the general public. Submit, however, Your Honor, they're no less. Now, anyone can wander in off the street, and so long as there is a seat there, that person can sit down, watch Ms. Broderick testify, listen to Ms. Broderick testify, form such impression as he or she wants, and walk out of this courtroom. Problem is, Your Honor, and I come back exactly to the point that the Fourth District Court of Appeal put its finger on, the important role the electronic media play in disseminating public information. This courtroom has as few seats or as many seats as it has. The interest in this case, the interest in any criminal proceeding, goes far beyond the number of available seats in the courtroom at any point in time. First point I want to make, Your Honor, is the general public can wander in and watch the witness testify. Then the public that cannot be here and is dependent on the electronic media and on the print media with their still cameras to record what goes on in these proceedings and to broadcast or disseminate it, that public is deprived of the opportunity to see this witness testify, a witness who is not a party in the case. And as I understand it, Your Honor, a witness who's already been seen. So this is not a witness who can say, gee, now I can't be seen. Arguably, the distinction between Ms. Broderick and Ms. Peralta. There is no influence on the jury because the jury will see the witness testify, has already seen the witness testify. And there is, to the extent that I have heard it so far articulated, no rationale for precluding the filming of the face of Ms. Broderick testifying, that it all comports with the Fourth District Court of Appeals, interpretation of Rule 980, affecting the rights of the parties, certainly not diminishing the dignity of this court, or impeding the orderly conduct of the proceedings. Your Honor has permitted timely application by everybody who has made application, the right to film these proceedings. In fact, as I understand it, Your Honor, Court TV is filming them and broadcasting them live, gavel to gavel. Submit briefly, Your Honor, and I don't want to get into and argue to the court the Globe Enterprise and Press Enterprise and all the stirring Supreme Court decisions that have made trials public. Your Honor is aware of those. They were argued to the Fourth District Court of Appeal. They're well embodied in that decision. I'd rather address such questions as the court has on why I believe that at least the court's restriction with respect to Ms. Broderick ought to be overturned, and that she should be filmed as with any other witness similarly situated.
Do you want to be heard as to Ms. Peralta?
I do, Your Honor, yes.
Why don't you address that at this point?
I'd be pleased to, Your Honor. As I understand the rationale for Ms. Peralta has articulated reasons that she has some future fear of being identified and being associated either with snitch testimony, to coin a phrase, testifying against somebody coming out of custody, and also in her neighborhood. Again, Your Honor, well, as I understand it, Ms. Peralta has not been shown on television, nor has her picture, at least advertently, appeared in the print media. I believe that Ms. Peralta's situation is similar. Anyone who comes into these proceedings, and her name is known, and her name will be broadcast. Her name is now known because it's been spread on the record. Anyone who comes into these proceedings will see Ms. Peralta. We'll see her sit on the witness stand. We'll see and hear her testify. I believe that those in our community who have an equal interest in this case and are relying on TV or the print media to disseminate the news about this case are entitled to that same access, Your Honor. It is the fundamental right to access to argument.
Okay, just, you probably weren't aware of this, but she did not object, and I did not order that her name would not be used or that her testimony was not going to be otherwise recorded by members of the media who were going to be allowed here for her testimony. It was strictly she was objecting to any film or electronic media coverage. But I don't think that changes anything you said. I just thought the record should be clear that she did not object to her name, the public knowing her name, or the public knowing the content of her testimony.
So that I understand, Your Honor, as I understand the order as it affects Ms. Broderick, the order is you can record these proceedings, news media, you simply cannot show her face.
That's right. That's right.
As to Ms. Broderick.
Right.
The court's order as to Ms. Peralta is the same or
same.
Different?
It is the same. Yes.
So we can have an audio recording of
Yes.
her testimony.
Yes. And print and electronic media reporters are allowed in the courtroom. There was never any order to exclude.
I understand that, Your Honor.
All right. What do you want to start? Ms. Wells, do you want to be heard first?
I'll defer to Mr. Early.
Mr. Early, you want to be heard?
Your Honor, I was the one that made the request as to Ms. Broderick.
Yes.
My understanding is that she felt uncomfortable testifying about what for her are very sensitive matters that affect her life directly with her family when there's cameras staring in her face. And while I can appreciate the fact that it's maybe that there's people that can come in the courtroom, I don't think that anyone can say that when you have a camera staring you in the face, knowing it's being broadcast live, it may have an effect upon that person. This is a trial. These jurors are supposed to be able to hear the testimony of witnesses. If we have witnesses that now feel they're being affected by the camera, then I think that that's an improper focus to be here. And so that's why if the witness makes the request, I can understand the witness making the request that it affects it. If it affects their testimony while they're here, then I think that that's something that the court not only should, but has to take into consideration. When the main thing is for these 12 people to judge their credibility, not the news media out there or the people sitting in their living rooms to judge credibility. While it might be nice for them to see a trial, if people ask it, it's the reason I didn't object to Ms. Peralta on there, is if it's going to, they can ask about it, the district attorney, I'm assuming I can, as to why it affects them, if it's relevant. But if a witness feels affected by the cameras in the courtroom, I think that that's something at least that the witnesses have a right to bring that up. And I also said to the court, I just wanted to make a record. I understand the court says they don't see it as a problem. The firm of Greg Carey represents other Broderick children. Broderick, at least when I got a subpoena on them, one of the requirements was that I do what I can to reduce their exposure to the public. That same firm is in here now saying that in any case, there's no right to do that whatsoever. Obviously, there's some problems on what we're looking at as far as protection of witnesses and not from the same firm, one representing the news media and at the same time representing witnesses in the case, taking different positions on that, which is in direct conflict with why they're doing it at that time. But as far as the only thing I can say is that I think the only objection or the only comment we have is that if it appears to affect their testimony or how they testify before the jury, then I think that's an improper part to be in the courtroom. That's improper to be before the jury because they're the ones that are important.
Ms. Wells, anything you wanted to add?
Only to say, Your Honor, that this is one issue, probably the only issue on which Mr. Early and I will agree. I just agree with what he said, and I've already given my reasons to the court of why I think it's appropriate with respect to Ms. Peralta. And I obviously don't have any objection with the same ruling with respect to Lee. I think that it's within the court's discretion, and I'd submit.
Well, just for the record, Mr. McIntyre, does your firm, to the best of your knowledge, represent Lee Broderick in any other matter?
Ms. Lee Broderick?
Yes.
To the best of my knowledge, Your Honor, no.
All right. I just wanted that on the record.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
The ruling that Mr. McIntyre referred to earlier in this case, it's my understanding of that ruling that the appellate court did not hold that the trial court or the lower court couldn't limit electronic media, provided it did so within the framework of Rule of Court 980. What they held was that once the court has authorized electronic media to record something, the court could not then edit what would be shown to the public. And at that time, what they were talking about, of course, was a tape testimony that would be edited and news blurbs, for lack of a better term, being showed on a newscast. And as Mr. McIntyre correctly pointed out, what has happened in this case is Courtroom TV is broadcasting, as I understand it, the bulk of it live. I'm not sure they broadcast every witness live, but this is a little different from the standpoint that there's live testimony. So I think what it boils down to is whether or not I have the authority under Rule 980 to limit in some fashion the electronic media and film media from taking pictures, whether it be electronic pictures or film pictures of a particular witness once I have authorized them to proceed in recording the trial, which I see to be a little different issue than the one that was raised before. I am aware of the court's ruling in that case. I am also aware of another provision in 980 that wasn't mentioned. Apparently, I'm not saying you didn't accurately quote from the court's rulings. I think you did. I'm sure you did, Mr. McIntyre. But there's another provision in 980 that I think is the fundamental provision that gives the court authority to limit electronic media and film coverage, and that has to do with the interests of justice. If the court finds the interests of justice are best served by limiting that coverage, then I think the court retains the inherent power to limit it, not to terminate it, but to limit it. Starting with the case of Ms. Peralta, I'm satisfied by the showing that was made to me that the interests of justice are best served by her not being filmed, in view of the fact that she had talked to a counseling attorney at her request, and in view of the fact that she was a jail inmate. And while I don't know the nature of her testimony, it's my understanding that it comes from a conversation she had with the defendant while she was in jail. The area of town she lives in, I guess, can best be described as not the best area. There are people there that may seek to do harm to somebody they thought was a snitch. And after talking with an attorney, she felt that she may be in some danger by testifying if she was going to be recorded live. It was explained to her, and she agreed that she had no problem with her name being used, with it being otherwise recorded. And as Mr. Early said, he was going to be allowed and will be allowed to cross-examine her on the fact that she's not being filmed at her request. But as to her, I think that my previous order is justified under the interests of justice, and so that particular order will stand. As to Miss Lee Broderick, the problem I have with that order, I understand that both parties have agreed that she does not have to be, her further testimony will not have to be electronically recorded. I am concerned with Mr. McIntyre's point that her testimony last week, which was for a substantial part of a day, as I recall, was in fact recorded by the film and electronic media, and there is substantial live footage, as far as I know, that was broadcast of her testimony. At that time, at least nobody brought it to my attention that she thought the camera was affecting her testimony, and I did not notice any reluctance on her part in answering questions that would indicate to me, independently of being told, that it was affecting her testimony. I first learned of this request earlier this morning when they indicated that she felt it was affecting her testimony. And I think the only way I can resolve this particular issue at this point, in fairness to all parties, is if counsel would allow me to ask Ms. Broderick a few questions with regard to that, or if counsel wants to address the questions themselves. Because if I'm going to restrict it, I need something on the record to justify what I do. Otherwise, I'm not going to restrict it.
I think it's appropriate that the court be the one to ask the questions.
Do you have any objection to that, Ms. Wells? No. Mr. McIntyre?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Is she in the hallway or otherwise available?
I'll get her.
Okay, so we're not going to see the snitch. I don't know if I couldn't understand. Are we going to hear the snitch? Because she's listed. I haven't looked far enough ahead to see if we see her or not. And like you just said, like Lee's been up there. She's already testified a ton. And then now all of a sudden she's like, I can't do it in front of. No. I mean, I can't speak for them. I've never been in their shoes in any way, shape, or form. My mom never unalived my dad, and I never had to go testify against her. So I don't know how I would feel. But I think you gotta say that a while ago. Not now. I think seeing a camera face probably would affect you. But they've been sitting in court this entire time behind their mom. The camera has clearly panned over to them, and they have seen it because I've watched them look at the camera and look away, which I'm sure is extremely uncomfortable because the cameras are not, they're huge. They're not like today where you maybe don't see them. But I don't know. I don't know. Yes. And she doesn't mind her name being used or her voice being heard. So you just don't want them to see you. If they know where you live and they know who you are, then now they're going to hear what you say. I don't understand. I don't understand. Have to take the snitch's testimony with a grain of salt. I don't know if she got a deal for testifying or not. Some don't get deals. Some get sweet deals. Some blatantly are clearly lying and get sweet deals. When they should be doing years of federal time and then they get nothing. Whatever. Yeah, they have been surrounded by cameras. So from Lee's perspective, I'm not understanding this. From the snitches one, I hate to call her that. Peralta, I think is her last name. I can see it. Welsh Lady reads, AJ, they are being ridiculous. I understand if she said it from the start, but not after. Yes, that's where I'm at. Absolutely. And Old Soul received a gifted membership from Carmen. Thank you, Carmen. I thought you were long gone, playing video games and such. The 80s were the best. The 90s were questionable. And I think I could have grown up in the 50s. I would have been fine. I would have been just fine. Difficult, because that's where my parents grew up. But popped back in for a second while everyone grabbed a drink. Wait, I know someone who, put my glasses on to read that, who bed with Betty in Los Colinas back in the day. What if it was her? Damn, I knew there was a snitch in the house. Just never cared who it was. Well, I don't know if we're Maria Peralta is her name. I don't know. I can't see right now what she looks like. I don't know if we're gonna see her though. And yes, 50s clothes for sure. I love them. I don't oopsies. With Shane Reynolds, born in the 70s, grew up in the 80s. Great time. Easier time. And my husband's favorite, big hair, jeans, and heels, which I do not have any of anymore. You knew a few Marias. But Peralta, I don't remember. Well, that's her name. I hope they show her just so you can be like, I knew her. Be amazing. Be amazing. Poor Court TV. They've been having this battle from the get-go. Haven't they? I mean, here we are 30 some years later and they're still having the battle. All right, let's listen to this ruling. See what we get.
Right. Okay. I'll be back. Okay.
Ms. Broderick's here again.
Hi.
Hi, Ms. Broderick. Would you maybe just take a seat up here? We're having a hearing with regard to your request not to be photographed further during your testimony, okay?
Okay.
That's the subject matter we're talking about.
Okay.
I think you realized that you, when you testified last week, that you were being photographed. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Do you feel that the fact you were being photographed at the time or electronically recorded at the time that you were testifying affected your testimony?
Yes, I was very nervous. Every time I would see the camera, I'd get scared.
All right. Do you believe that it affected you to the standpoint that it caused you to change any testimony or anything to that
No.
standpoint? Just made
No.
you nervous?
It just makes me more nervous knowing that it's right there.
Okay. Are you aware that even if the camera isn't on you, are you aware that the public and the press are allowed in the courtroom and that they can record, other than by electronic media, by film footage, they can record and probably are recording what you say?
Yes.
Does that bother you?
No, I just don't like the fact of being on live TV. That scares me.
Okay. What if it wasn't broadcast live? What if they taped it and edited it and showed parts later? Would that affect you the same or not?
Yes.
I think it would.
Yes.
Well, tell me in your own words how you think that the camera pointing at you would affect your ability to testify further.
Well, it just makes me nervous again. I forget the question that was asked of me when I look over there because I think about the TV. For my attention to be completely focused on the questions, it'd be easier for me if the camera wasn't there.
You're aware of the fact when the camera is and is not pointing at you or aimed at you? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
What if they had the capability, and I don't know if they have this capability, but what if they had the capability of pointing the camera over at the adjoining wall in some fashion and just using a wide angle lens so it wasn't pointing at you? Would that solve the problem? Such as if they pointed, like now it appears to be pointed to me, to the best of my knowledge.
That would be a little bit better.
That would be okay, do you think?
Just, yeah,
As long as they don't focus in on you with close-up?
Right. I just don't like it right pointing at me. If they could point it somewhere else, that'd
Right,
be
the
better.
fact that you might be on it inadvertently or off in the corner wouldn't bother you then? Just you don't want to focus and zooming in and showing
Right.
the freckles or something, right?
Right, exactly.
All right, thank you very much. Any council have questions of her? Mr. McIntyre, Mr. All right. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thanks.
Sit down. All right, the record reflect that she has left the courtroom. Based on her statements, it would be my tentative decision to rescind my order, but to ask the camera operator if he could, when she's testifying, just use a wider angle lens and point the camera as it is now, sir, so that it's pointed off in a different direction and not show close-ups of her. I mean, you can get her on coverage, just don't show close-ups.
That's fine.
And you have that capability?
Yes.
And for the record, would you state your name?
My name's Carl Nichols.
All right, you're operating the only electronic media camera that's in the courtroom, is that correct?
Yes.
All right. Anything further?
Just one point.
My name's Michael Darden. I'm from the San Diego Union Tribune. I'm also full photographer for AP and the rest of the newspapers. How would you like me to handle this situation?
Well, I think you probably got enough pictures of her from last week, don't you?
Well,
Still pictures?
yeah, but I mean, they want up-to-date stuff, and I need to tell them something. I mean, I'm shooting for a lot of people. It's not just our newspaper.
No, I understand that, but based on what she said, I assume if you could do it in a inconspicuous way and not take a bunch of pictures, go ahead. She's not, doesn't seem to be affected by you as much as the electronic camera, but, don't sit right in front of her and take a bunch of shots, okay?
These inconspicuous.
Well, you've done a good job being inconspicuous. I mean, seriously, you've been doing a good job, and I don't hear your shudder or anything, so that's fine. That's not a problem, so I think you can go ahead. Was there anything that the fellow on the line from San Francisco wanted to add to any of this?
I don't think so, Your Honor. He said that he had heard Mr. McIntyre's argument and seemed to cover all bases.
All right, and is it okay to recess now, Mr. McIntyre?
One small point, Your Honor. The court has to focus on the trial in front of it, as do counsel. To the extent that there is the opportunity to give us, should these issues arise again, all things being equal, they probably will.
They come up on the spur of the moment, Mr. McIntyre. I
Fully understand.
around it this morning about 10:30.
To the extent that there is the opportunity to give me or my firm a call to inform us to do this kind of work, and it's simply a matter of putting other factors together, to the extent it's not possible, Your Honor, I fully understand it. I understand the court's focus is on the trial in front of the court, and that's singularly appropriate. If there is the chance, we would like to be heard. I'll just put that on the record now.
All right.
We will get down here as soon as we can at the earliest opportunity.
If there is another of these type of motions brought, I won't hear it till I've notified your office.
That'd be fine. Thank you
That's
very much.
assuming your office could be here within, say, a half hour's notice.
Oh,
But I can't hold the trial up.
6 minutes, 8 minutes, Your Honor.
Okay, we'll say within a half hour.
We'll send the younger ones there faster. Thanks, Your Honor.
All right, we're in recess.
Thank
Yeah.
I had two requests I'd like to make. It doesn't need to be on the record. Do it.
All right, let's go in chambers and do it so they can start bringing the public and the jury in here. The matter of the people of the state of California versus Elizabeth Broderick. Court finds all members of the jury panel are present. All counsel are present. Ms. Broderick is present. Ms. Lee Broderick, you retake the stand, please.
So, Ronnie, there's one camera in there, the view that we have, and then plus the long lens camera. He didn't basically put any limitations on him other than don't be in her face. But then I think now we're just going to look at the wall. Should be great. It's kind of ridiculous. She's almost done. Like, whatever. You can't stop saying nostalgic things after Welsh said it. Oh no. That's what happened. A Bostonian, a Welsh, and an Aussie started chatting and no one understood a word. All right, well. And now we're going to stare at a wall. Goody.
your stone oath from this morning, ma'am?
Okay.
Go ahead, Ms. Wells.
Thank you, Your Honor. Just a few more questions for you, Ms. Broderick. You remember testifying that you had made a statement to Detective Allen on the morning that this occurred about some of the things that your mother said in relation to this newspaper article in which your dad said about this won't be over till one of us is home. Do you remember testifying about that?
All right, now I see how they're going to do it. Wide angle lens, can't get close up on her, so it's going to look like it's looking at the wall. Whatever. Good heavens. Picky people. Wait, what? I don't know if you heard it right. Gabby, I don't know. Maybe.
Yes.
And would it refresh your recollection to take a look at what you said to Detective Allen?
Yes.
If I can show her your interview with Detective Allen, page 17, lines 9 through 12. I'm sure you get that to your son. And do you recall specifically what your mother said about that?
I remember her saying that he had said it himself in the article.
And what did she say about that?
She just said that this was me saying what had been said in the article. She had just told me that she was very upset that he had made that quote in the reader for all of Lahoya to read.
And didn't she tell you, so I guess one of us is gone now and it's over and I don't care if I live the rest of my life in jail?
I don't remember her saying that right now. She might have said that. I don't remember.
You do remember giving an interview to Detective Allen?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, on that day?
Yes.
And were the events fresh in your mind on that day?
Yes.
And were you telling Detective Allen the truth as best you knew that day?
Not really. I lied to him about a few things, but I was trying to tell the truth about what my mom had said to me. Yes.
Okay. And that interview was tape recorded, correct?
Yes.
Your Honor, if I could, I'd like to have her just simply read that statement. That's
No.
my election recording.
Overruled. I mean, excuse me, to your objection, I know you're going to make a sustained. I assume you're making an objection.
Yes, sir.
Sustained. No, you can't do that.
You had indicated with respect to Christmas that your parents did, after the separation and before the divorce became final, they did do some sharing of Christmas. There were times when you spent the first week of vacation with your mother and the second week of vacation with your dad, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And were you aware of efforts that your dad made with your mother to get things settled about Christmas before Christmas came around?
No.
So you don't know what kinds of discussions they had to settle those things?
No.
For example, in 1988, the Christmas before this particular year, do you recall your brothers spending the first week of Christmas and Christmas morning with your mother?
No, I don't really recall that Christmas very well.
Okay.
I don't remember where we were at that time.
And did you know that as with respect to 1989, the Christmas that was coming up, that your mother had set visitation for Thanksgiving and for Christmas that year?
I don't know. I have no idea.
When you turned 18 and you moved out and you got an apartment on your own, that was that something that you wanted to do?
Yes. My father kicked me out a month before I turned 18, but when I was going to turn 18, it would be my decision to move out anyway. So I was not very upset when he asked me to leave.
That was something that you'd been wanting to do. Right?
Yes.
And there had been the night before that you had an argument with your dad, you had spent the whole night away from the house, right?
Well, my sister and I were over at my mom's house, and we didn't have a ride back to our dad's house. So we figured if we both spent the night, then he wouldn't get mad at us individually. So we both spent the night at my mom's house, and when we came back to my dad's house, he said he wasn't going to have us live in the house if we couldn't obey his rules.
He didn't know where you were all night, right? You hadn't called him.
Right.
And so he'd been worried and upset you guys didn't come home and he didn't know where you were.
Right. I think he knew that we were over at our mom's house, so we told him that we were going over there. But he didn't know where we were at night. No.
And you had indicated that he had some set curfew rules there. And those were rules that sometimes you didn't want to go back.
Yes.
And with respect to living down in the pool room for that period of time when Kim came back from college, Danny had taken over your room after you moved out, is that correct?
Yes, he had my room remodeled into a boys' room, different wallpaper, different furniture, and my dad didn't want to kick Danny out of the room that he had just moved into.
And living in the pool room wasn't anything that you were particularly upset about. You didn't mind that.
No, I didn't mind.
Did your dad or Linda ever do anything sexually inappropriate in front of you or the boys?
No.
And with respect to the argument about your mother's old set of china, there were two sets of china when your parents separated, correct?
Yes.
And your mother got the newer set and your dad got the older set, right?
I don't know how they got which set. All I know is that we had a set of wedding china and a set of decoration china.
And so were you aware at all of whether or not your mother had even requested that set of china during the divorce?
No.
This was something that, well, several people thought that it was kind of a silly argument, didn't they, about the china?
Linda thought it was a silly argument. My dad thought it was a silly argument. My mom, it was a big deal to my mom. She had sentimental value in it, and she didn't understand why they were keeping it from her if they had their own wedding china.
Were you around when Brad Wright had conversations with your mom too and thought that it was a silly argument?
No.
Heard about that?
No.
Were you around very often when Brad was around your mother?
Yes.
Did your mother ever threaten to kill Linda because of the wedding china?
No.
You think that had anything to do with why she killed Linda?
No.
Were you aware at all whether or not Linda was advised by an attorney about whether she should turn over the china or continue to turn over things to your mother?
All I know is that she said she had put money into the set, and she wasn't going to lose the money that she put into the set. She figured it was hers, that she spent money replacing the chipped pieces. Therefore, it was hers, and she put it in a safe place where my mom wouldn't find it.
You had described one incident where you saw the gun, your mom's gun in her pocket.
Yes.
And do you recall telling Detective Allen that your mom had the gun in her pocket every time your dad came over?
Yes, I remember telling him that. But
First of all, I'm going to object to this, Your Honor. I didn't even go into that area. And
Yes, he did, Your Honor.
I believe you went into it on direct last week, Ms. Wells. I don't recall him going into it on cross.
No, I believe he did go into it on cross. He did ask questions about it. Oh, it was my recollection on Thursday, not today.
I'm looking at Thursday,
Yeah.
my Thursday notes.
When does this judge take notes? He's always just leaning back in his chair. Okay.
I only had notes of him asking her questions about where the gun was kept in the house and whether the boys had seen it. I don't have anything as him talking to her on cross about the one incident that you brought out on direct of it being in the pocket of the road.
Well, did the boys ever talk to you about seeing a gun in the mom's pocket?
no.
no, I'm just going to object as just to repeating things, so it's repeated.
Well, no answer stands.
I have no further questions.
Mr. Early.
Trying to get the family to like her. Was that always what her attitude was? Was that at first, or was it always that way?
She went out of her way to be nice to us at first so that we would accept her into the family. But then once she had moved in, she started to try and discipline us. Like she was our mom or something. She tried to make rules, and that's when the problems with Linda and I started happening. She started to tell us what to do, started to tell us when we could have money and when we couldn't. Started to tell us things like that, and I didn't feel that was her place to tell us what to do.
Were those rules different than your dad was setting?
Yes.
You indicated, was there a time that there was you wanted to buy your mother a present for Christmas? You weren't given any money for it?
Objection, Your Honor. Let's go.
Sustained.
You said that you used to you used to talk to your mother, or complain to your mother about things, and your sister did. Was there a difference? How did your sister talk to your mother about what was going on over at your father's house? Calm?
My sister is a lot more emotional than me. She would often cry and be very upset. She's easily upset, and if she would get upset about something over at my dad's house, she would come to my mom all upset and crying, and she would tell her what was wrong and what was bothering her. She was always really emotional about it.
When you talk about the first time you got to drive the Jaguar, what was your father's condition after he picked you up?
Well, he was pretty intoxicated. He didn't want to drive the car, and he couldn't drive the car. Him and Linda fell asleep in the back seat on the way home. I drove to Hillcrest in the Jaguar.
And were there other times where you learned of statements from your father about passing out drunk at bars and establishments?
Objection, Your Honor. It's beyond scope of your saying.
Sustained.
Your Honor, she asked a question about whether he was an alcoholic, whether her opinion was he was an alcoholic.
That's true. Her
So
opinion was that it wasn't. So he's not.
that he wasn't. Well, I think I can impeach it with things that she considered
All
that.
right, go ahead.
Did you know of stories of your father getting drinking so that he would go to sleep in parking lots?
Yes.
Now, you testified about the dogs and indicated that you talked to me about testimony in this case, did you not?
Yes.
And who was it that brought up the dogs? Was it you or I?
I believe it was me.
Okay. And when your father would come home, how would those dogs react to your father?
The dogs were afraid of my dad, but they knew what his voice sounded like, and they knew that they would get kicked if they were around, so they'd run outside or into the kitchen or somewhere. They wouldn't come up to him for affection like they did to everyone else.
And when you said it was no big deal, were you saying, well, that's just what my father's like, or were you saying that the dogs like to get kicked?
Well, it's no big deal to me and my family because that's always the way my dad has been. He's always hated dogs. He never wanted us to get the dogs in the first place, and it was just no big deal to me because that's the way my dad was.
Now, what did I tell you about, and did you at some point in time call about things that were being said
Yes.
by other people, and were you upset about it?
Yes.
Why?
Because I thought that things were being over-exaggerated and under-exaggerated. I just felt that the truth wasn't coming out exactly as it's supposed to be.
And did you feel that some of that was over-exaggerated against your mother?
Yes.
And what were you told about, what did I tell you about your testimony, what you should do?
You told me to tell the truth because not to try and take sides, but to just tell the truth and say what I remember.
Did I tell you not to say bad things about your mother if you knew them?
No. You told me to tell the truth about the bad things my mother did,
Okay.
not to try and cover them up in any way, but to just tell the truth.
And at some point in time, did you ever talk about if it's uncomfortable for you to come in here and say things? I have no further questions.
Ms. Wells?
No, Your Honor.
Witness be excused.
Your Honor, I would like to just, if we could just approach the bench for a moment, I'd like to just ask the staff to reopen, ask the one question as to the
I don't have any problem with that, Ms. Wells, do you?
Should I first?
All right.
I don't know which one.
I thought we were done.
Was there at some point in time where you asked your father about getting some money to buy your mother a Christmas present?
Yes.
Okay, and would he give you any money to do that?
No, he told us to save our
Objection, Your
lives.
Honor. It was a yes or no question.
All right, everything. Well, the answer can stand.
I have no further questions at this time.
Cross on Ms. Wells.
Just a minute, yes. Do you recall an incident, Ms. Broderick, where in 1985, when your dad took all of you kids to go buy presents for your mother and you all went over to her house to give them to her and she would open the door?
No.
Ms. Earl.
No.
Witness be Is he excused?
Subject to recall.
I have no objection.
All right. So you're excused, subject to recall. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
No. We made it. We're done. We did it. We did it. Sorry. I don't know where I got that song. I was going to see. I don't know if that's Peralta lady or not. I don't know. But we'll find out. Yes, and Finn. This has been a fun night. I had a blast. And thank you, Expert, for sending your awesome chat over. And thank you to everyone who has stayed and watched whatever happened there. I don't know. I feel like we could have the same argument from Court TV and their attorneys today. And who knows how it would go. You know, that's always been my argument, is that anybody can walk into any court at any time and watch a trial. Now, millions of us cannot walk into a courtroom and watch a trial, or we don't have the ability to travel and all that fun stuff. Could you imagine if all of us, no matter what side you're on, could go and be in Canton? We could all stay at Gabby's. And she does not live in Canton. She does not live in Canton. She just lives in Massachusetts. Trust me, she does not live in Canton. I would never dox her. But, okay. So, Monday, we will be my plan is we'll be taking a break from this and watching the finale of Lori Vallow representing herself. Lori Vallow Part 2, Last Time We Gotta See You. So we will be doing that trial with her. That doesn't start till it's in Arizona, so it's 3 hours behind me. So that doesn't generally start until the afternoon. So I'll have to see what time they're starting. And court is pretty short out there, even shorter than Bev Cannoni's court. That's like never in session for a full day. Yeah, it's in jury selection. And I saw an article that said that he didn't expect it to, because she's representing herself. The judge didn't expect it to be a long trial. I'm like, yes, judge. Thank you. Also, if you didn't watch the first trial that Lori Vallow did, a month ago, where she represented herself, 1, she sucks. 2, the judge in there could be Zach's twin, or at least a brother. And it's hilarious. Same haircut, same nice guys. So that's the plan. Just so you know, even though I'm talking in chat talking tripe, I'm still watching the trial and listening to you, my lovely. Thank you. I appreciate that. Sometimes I test them to see if they're listening to me, and sometimes they're not. It's okay. I think they'll be ready. Flashman. She wants Judge Zach out. Well, it's not happening. Oh, she doesn't have any witnesses? Just like last time. That's what happens when you unalive everyone in your life. It'll go quickly, just like Ronnie's crown. Oh, wow. Too soon, Belltown. Too soon. All right. I'm going to give me a second to get my bearings, because I flipped my monitors, what I have showing where around, and now I'm backwards. I'm going to, if you guys will allow me, I'm going to send you guys to Grandma's. So if you can at least please go over there and say hi, because I kept her chat over here late. Which one is it? Is it Countdown? No. General Knowledge. Got it. So I'm going to send you guys over there. So if you can at least please say hello, I would appreciate it. Let her know that I sent you. And it is a children's. There are kids in the chat, so just be mindful of that. But other than that, it's a very, very cool place to be. So I will put up a link on, or put up a stream, whatever, on Monday, and we will see what Miss Vallow has in store for us and see what the evidence will show this time, because it clearly only showed she was guilty last time. So thank you all again for all of you that came over from the expert, for that subbed, that liked. I appreciate it. I hope to see you guys all again soon. And for all my other people, thank you. Thank you for all the fun, everyone for all the super chats. I had a blast. And I don't know. I'm just appreciative and grateful for all of you. So see you all on Monday. Have a great weekend. Make good choices, please. And thank you. And I'll see you later.